What's up? It's Conversations with King. Don't mind me, I'm enjoying these gummy bears. I was hoping that y'all come in with the 50 likes, but today something's up. Maybe it's an off day. Conversations with King. Maybe it's hold on. Hoping that y'all come in. Hold on. Maybe it's an off day. Something's up. Maybe it's an off day. You know what I mean? Everybody cut off their things, please. Maybe it's an off day. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Black Friday. Shout out to Gina. Thanks for the super sticker. I appreciate you. We are having a good day today. Regardless, we're gonna have a good discussion whether people come in the room or not. But today was an excellent day for me. I'm just happy to be alive. Yesterday I realized I'm an orphan. I had no place to go and eat, and nobody invited me over. And I realized my parents wasn't doing it because the whole COVID thing. My other family flew to Dallas. My other family flew to Chicago. So I was in the crib by myself, just researching YouTube and making myself a better platform for y'all. So I appreciate y'all. Loverboy Lansky, you all we need, homie. Don't worry about it. Things will change soon. Well, with that being said, I want to get shout out to our sponsor. But yesterday, if you look at my page, I have this now. King's Court. It's the members only. I have one chair. That means it's one price. You get everything you want, from the emoji to the badge to the exclusive content. One price. Go and do this because I want to have some special guests come on here later on, and it's going to be only members only. And when that footage hits, you will be notified. Please tell your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to join members only. It's called a King's Court with a K. Please press join. It's only $9.99 a month. I'm not trying to hit you in the head, $25, $30. Just come in. You get access to the exclusive content that's coming later on before the year ends or as soon as the year drops. But most likely before the year ends. We're going to have a special thing for December. And you get to see who I am and how authentic I am in regards to who I say I am and for the people. That's one thing I want you to get. So please go and get that. Also, we want to go to our sponsors. Shout out to Ripple again. Ripple, once again, lychee aroma, zero nicotine. Please, I want everybody to go and support this. Look on the bottom if you see it, 50% discount. If you go to the ripple.com/collections and you put the Ripple King, you'll get a 15% discount. Please go and support those that support us and make sure that they continue to support us. I appreciate you. Other thing we want to shout out to is my book, Loving Life Through the Eyes of Travel. This is a very important book for those who care about love and romance and passion. This is not for those who's trying to get married anytime soon. These are for those who appreciate love and who want to be swept off their feet. This is what it's for. Please go and cop this book on Kindle, Apple iBooks, BookBaby, and Amazon. This is what it's about. Please go and support. And last but not least, before we get to Willie Dean's book, we want to talk about, if you like some of the content that we have and you want to be really immersed in it, I suggest that you go to my merchandise store on Bonfire called Conversations with King. And that right there is some fire gear designed by Terry. Fire. Hoodies, t-shirts, crew shirts, and some quotes that you can't live without. So please go and support the Conversation with King channel. I appreciate you. And now we got Willie Dean with his book, and Chef also has some merchandise that he's selling as well. So please go and support. They're gonna drop it where you can go and get it at right now. Thank you.
Peace to the garden. Peace to the garden. Peace to 3 of the 4 horsemen. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Darrell too.
Shout out to Darrell. What's up?
Yeah, maybe he'll join us a little later. But in any case, shout out to Ron P. I see you, Ron P. Appreciate you, brother. And peace to Loverboy Linsky, everybody in the garden, flowers, rocks. Especially you can be anywhere in the world, but you're enjoying your Black Friday with us. Appreciate y'all. I know the holidays are coming up. Anybody that would like to support my children's book titled Love, it's available on Amazon. And I appreciate any support that I receive from y'all.
Right. That's what's up. Chef, your page, before you do that, Aisha Smith, once again, you lost your grandmother last year because of COVID. My condolences to that, because I know sometimes people go through holidays without their loved ones. So Aisha Smith, we give you our condolences. We sorry for that, Flower, and also our condolences to Chef's grandfather. Chef,
What's going on? What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Chef. And yeah, it's been a crazy week. Lost grandpops last week. We buried him on Monday. You get what I'm saying? But everything is I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be able to still rebound from that. I feel blessed understanding that so many people out here who have suffered from loss be may not have had the opportunity to exhibit, balance or understand balance. So I want to send a special shout out to all of those people from the chat, all of those people from the conversations with King family, and especially our audience, because this YouTube thing is supposed to be chaos and crazy and Yuliwood, like I call it, right? But what was so crazy is while everybody is experiencing weird stuff from weird people, I got some little bit of weirdness, but the blessings that I got from people that I've never met, touched, that made me feel positive. It gave me a new outlook on life. It made me know that the impacts of my words and messages and energies that I share have benefited somebody. So I'm straight up humbled by it. On the panel, they all showed me love, no BS aside. You know what I mean? But there was one conversation I had with Willie Dean. Willie Dean is everybody's favorite. You know what I'm saying? Why is that? Willie Dean, he happens to be a manifestation or embodiment of the type of dude that we want to be and still maintain our level of cool. You get me? I happen to be coming from upstairs in the house, and I have him on speakerphone. I'm talking to him after my grandpa's passed. And literally, I'm trying to get off the phone with him because he's talking to me. He getting me choked up. And I'm like, yeah, nah, I feel you, I feel you. So, all right, man. He's like, no, Chef, I'm telling you, man, I understand how these times go. If you need somebody to talk to, you could just holler at me, man. And just like everybody's old lady and all the ladies, they'd be like, damn, Willie Dean is a real one. I didn't even realize she heard it. She was like, yo, man, Willie Dean is a real one, yo. He's a real one. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I feel blessed at the opportunity to be able to pull positive energy and good vibes from a place that other people consider a hell. That's what I think is my vibe, and that's why when any of y'all is in hell, I'm gonna try to show y'all the light. So I appreciate you, Willie Dean, and all the rest of you, Queen Nita. You know what I mean? You told me, yo, if you don't want to say nothing and just let me sit here and sit with you, I'm good. All of y'all, man, y'all taught me something special. Let's. I want y'all to just make sure you share that with everybody else and let them know your superpowers because y'all shined it on me. Peace.
I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you
Oh yeah,
more, bro. You have no idea.
you didn't give the other thing. Your closing.
Oh, the other thing. You know what I'm saying? This to me was the most important thing, but the other thing, we've opened the True Pill store, the True Pill apparel store. If you're not a member of the True Pill Community Garden on Facebook, please type into Facebook in the search True Pill Community. If you just type in True Pill, it's going to pull up. You're going to see a link to the store. There's some really awesome designs that we have. And right now, there's one particular design based on the batch, but I have other designs coming out as well. Right now, we have hoodies, crew necks, V-necks, long sleeve T-shirts as well. And we're going to be coming with the bucket hats, sweatsuits, because, it's getting a little brisk out here. So stay with your boy, rock with your boy, stay tuned. I'm still learning this thing, but we growing together.
All right, E Black.
Yo, what's good with y'all? First of all, it's Friday, Black Friday, but I hope y'all didn't spend too much money on this weekend on trivial stuff. Hope y'all enjoy y'all times with y'all families. Like I always tell you guys, it's Friday. You guys could have been anywhere with anywhere with anybody else, but you guys are with us, and we're gonna try to make it enjoyable for you guys. We definitely, as men, we try to make this as enjoyable, educational, and meaningful because, like I tell you guys before, you guys motivate us through you guys' behavior, your accountability, and everything that this garden is about. So, shout out to everybody on this Thanksgiving weekend. And sit back. The Cowboys lost. I'm feeling good. So,
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, with that being said, we want to definitely what's up? Give a roll call. Shout out to the Flower Queenita. Shout out to the Flower Mrs. Dean. Shout out to Ron P and his amazing wife. Shout out to Aisha Smith. Shout out to the boy ZB. I'm rocking with you, ZB. Loverboy Lensky. I'm rocking with you as well. And when we say rock, we put rock in king. So it's two compound word. I'm rocking with you. Another thing, we want to say shout out to Chris, I'm rocking with you as well. Shout out to all the people that came today to support us. And we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it popping today. I can see it's a real laid back day, and that's where usually things happen that spicy happen. Today I got a lot of things I want to address, but maybe today's not the right day to address it because we want to keep it peaceful. But what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the second. Actually, I'm going to save that for tomorrow for this show. But we're going to talk about first spicy topic, and which is what are the causes for resentment in a relationship, whether it be platonic or romantic, and how can we prevent it? What are the causes of resentment? First and foremost, let us define resentment. Willie Dane, what's up, Red Lipstick?
Are you putting something up there?
No, 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 not yet.
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, how would I define resentment? Is that,
Yeah.
is that that's the question?
The question is, yeah, what are the main question? What are the causes of resentment and how can we prevent it? But before we do that, let's define it.
Um, you want me to look it up?
No, I mean your own definition.
All right. To, to me, resentment is somebody that's upset or bitter with a circumstance that happened, with them being involved or just with them in general. So that's how I would take it. But a way that you can prevent that, or the way that I prevent that, is just being me and moving the right way. Like, I mean, regardless of what happens in life, as long as you who you are, as long as who you say you are, as long as you're moving the right way, regardless, you're not even worried about what other people think of you. You know what I'm saying? Because whether you're moving the right way or whether you're moving the wrong way, somebody's always gonna have something to say. So it's like, I've never been a person that even cared what other people think about me, because I know that I'm trying to move, and I'm trying to be the best me every day, and that's it. You
muted.
on mute, son?
You black your own resentment.
Yeah, with resentment, resentment doesn't necessarily have to be a direct action against you. It could be the fact that you believe, somebody you deserve to be in that person's position. You hear it a lot of times with athletes. They're jealous of LeBron, or they're jealous of certain people because they feel like, I felt I could have been in that position as long as if I would have had the stuff, the training that this person had, or I felt that if I didn't get hurt, I would have been in a better position. And you hear it a lot of times in terms of relationships too, that hey, and men have resentment for their women because they don't feel that it's fair for them when we work hard, make money, and we don't get treated with as much respect as men that don't have to work as hard. So resentment, like I said, doesn't have to be a direct action, but it also can be a feeling of a person that feels that they've been slighted in the world. So in terms of relationships, when you have a relationship with persons, whether platonic or not, usually resentment comes is when you have expectations that are not being met. If I feel as if I'm always taking you out to dinner and we're dutching it, and then I feel like I don't have the you're not contributing as much. I'm taking you out to steakhouse as friends, as a relationship, but then every time we go out, you only taking me out to McDonald's. I'm gonna feel resentment. So in relationships, it's all about expectations and whether they're being met individually by yourself, and whether that other person is at least trying to meet your expectations.
I don't know, but in order for you to have resentment, you got to have been treated unfairly. That's what I'm saying.
You
And,
got. I
and
think you got to
Yeah.
feel as. I think you got to feel as if sometimes you're not being treated fairly, but also you have an expectation of treatment too.
So when we look at resentment, right, an actual definition of resentment, one of the main respected definitions of resentment is pretty much it's a complex, multi-layered emotion that has been described as a mixture of disappointment, disgust, anger, and fear. Right. So now, when we talk about it, you know, what are the things to me that fall into line with all of that bring resentment within a relationship? One is one-sided feeling, unfulfilled expectations, betrayal, low performance, feelings of being ignored, lack of adjustment, unsatisfied sexual unsatisfied sexual desires. Okay. Now, all of those things, they may not be all, like on the Black what Jen says, some, not all. Right. Now, the thing is, with regards to those things, I believe all of those play a part in terms of not necessarily marital, but relationship type resentment. I believe those are the big seven. And if you do Google or take a look, you'll see some people may have 10, some may have 8, but I can guarantee you those 7 are in each of those lists. So there's always going to be a why of the resentment. The thing is, the only thing you can do is determine what it is you contribute to it.
Yes, chef.
So resentment, and the reason why I brought that up today is because um, it's funny how E Black on the pre-show he was talking about people going through depressions and stuff like that during the holidays, and I know people that actually broke up with people because of not receiving gifts or not feeling like they weren't valued enough for a person to make sacrifices. And resentment is also going to be the bridge to our main topic today. We're going to skip the spicy topic number 2 because that's going to be for tomorrow for the queens. But we definitely want to talk about how resentment is the bridge to our main topic. But what are the causes of resentment besides, like, give me examples of the causes of resentment? Like, what happens? What makes a person resent you? Like, give me an instant. Do they resent you because they can no longer have you anymore, and they see that you making moves to higher places in life, or do they resent you because they're comparing you with how you treated them to the person you're with now? Why do people resent? Why do women or men resent their partners, or why do children resent their parents, or why do people resent the jobs that they have? Why is that? What's up, Harrison Flog? You know you could join up, brother. I appreciate you for that one. We got to talk. You know, I've been trying to reach out to you with your hard man to get next to, but definitely come aboard because today's topic is going to be a good topic. We need you up here. But why? What is this resentment coming from, brothers? Talk to me. I like that. Jealous can't control. Go ahead.
Like when kids have resentment, the majority of the time, especially if they have like brothers and sisters, what do you hear all the time? Especially like if you have like a family that has 3 kids, what do you hear all the time? Middle child syndrome, right? They not the oldest, they not the baby, they not the first, they not the baby. So the majority of middle children that I know have resentment towards their parents because they feel that they weren't treated on the same level as the other parents. Because the first one, oh, that's the first baby, that's the special baby. Then you had a second one, you know, it's just another kid. And then when you have the last one, you know, some parents have the tendency to really, really baby the last one because that's the last baby. They're not having any more after that. So a lot of middle children that I know have resentment towards their parents just to for example, because they feel like they weren't treated as fairly as the first child and the last child. So you on mute.
I'm the middle child, but I kind of even out because I'm the firstborn son. So I didn't really feel that neglect, but I get it. I get it. I get it. I like that. I like that example. What are the causes of resentment, E Black?
You know,
Personal example.
directly in a relationship, maybe you are not being given your all, or the expectations of the person maybe say, hey, I know you're a better person than that. You know, hey, you know, I think you can do better. I've seen you do better. I've seen you treat your friends better. And when it comes to me, you're not giving me the same effort that I feel that I know your past. I know what's going on. I see you every day struggling and working hard in other efforts, but when it comes to me specifically, you don't want to give me those same things. So I grow resentful in those aspects because I know that I am deserving of it.
Right.
I put in much work.
Right.
So why shouldn't I get the same effort that you're getting in, that I'm putting in, that in terms of me trying my hardest, when you're not trying your hardest, or I don't feel that you're trying your hardest, or I don't feel you're tapping into a level in which I feel that you can, or I've seen you do,
right.
or I've heard you say you've done.
Well, you know, is that entitlement?
No, I think it's very
like,
it's a valid expectation on your partner.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do any of the men feel that whatever work you do, you're supposed to get a return from it, from your lover?
I think so. Like if your woman had 20 sexual partners and then you get into bed with her and she's acting like she ain't never had sex before, you're gonna feel resentment. You're gonna be like, whoa, you said that you did this, that, and the third. Now you come
here. Yeah, but you already married her though. You should have figured that out before you went and got that ring, man.
But you can't because you can't get married before sex.
Yeah, so but
I know.
but you get what but I mean the same is valid. Like sometimes you really have to when somebody tells you. That's why I don't ask women body count, or I've never asked a woman's body count, because then I'm expecting greatness.
Everybody better be a new signature move.
Hold on, does you have a point? How does this work? Look into your YouTube when you sign off. It wasn't showing a notification for this show like it normally does.
It may have started later than expected, so.
Okay, that's life. Whatever. I'm just happy you here, Bliss Me. What's up? What's up with that? I'm happy you here. And tell your boyfriend I said what's up, fellow Pisces. Thank you. All right. Yeah, but what's going on? What's up, big bad boy? What's up, triple B's? So what's going on?
But But Tristan, I'm looking at Tristan's comment. Body count does not equate skills in the bedroom. Yeah, it doesn't. But you can tell when somebody's holding back. You could tell when they're like, "Hey, you said you was in this type of relationship. You said you talked all this stuff on the phone, and then where is it at? Give me something."
Mm.
And it's like, I'm feeling like you're holding back. So I think you get resentment.
Right.
I can see that happening, and I can see that happening in other phases of life too. Like, hey, you said that you were emotional. You said you bought presents. You said that you're if as far as a man, you said that you drove your girlfriend to work every day.
Right.
Now,
So your resentment is basically what that quote is. Comparison to thief of all joy.
yeah,
So
I
you
agree
have
with
resentment through
that.
comparison. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Will?
Um, I mean, resentment can come a lot of ways. You know, initially when I first thought of it, and I still stand by this. I still think resentment is more so how you've been treated. Whether it be the expectations that you have not equaling up to the way you feel like you should be treated, it still comes back to the same thing. You know, it's your expectations. You have expectations that you should be treated this certain way, and you're not being treated that way. So to me, that's your expectations always goes back to the way you were treated. You feel like you were treated unfairly. You feel like somebody's trying to pull a fast one on you. Like your expectations aren't adding up. They're not matching up. Like a kid feeling that the way he's treated is not as good as his siblings. All of it comes back to the treatment.
Right.
So
I, I, so what you said is important, Willie Dan. You know what I'm saying? It's important because listening to the examples that you gave in terms of reject the resentment, I believe that a lot of the resentment that people possess is not really on others. It's really resentment for their own personal decisions
Mm.
that they
mhm.
refract, that they refract and project onto others because of their own personal resentment. Instead of me resenting the decision that I made being with a person or not properly vetting a person or not paying attention to those signs. Instead of me taking personal accountability, because remember when we talk about regret, we said this in several shows before. The antithesis or opposite of regret, the cure or antidote or vaccine for regret is self-recrimination. Self-recrimination, which is you taking personal responsibility for the regretful situation and understanding what you did to help bring about your own personal demise. So it gives you more empowerment as you move into other situations or problems. So I said all of that stuff to say, I do believe that a certain amount of people's resentment is actually internalized resentment that's refracted and reflected back onto others. Did I
What
make
is
the
it?
bad decision? Is this a bad? Did I buy some bad horses? You know what I mean? Or did these horses that I bought from Farmer John, some stupid horses, and Farmer John's an idiot? And or did I pick the wrong 3 horses out of 75 he had? And because I wanted to get cheaper horses, I got the bullshit horses that can't even pull a plow or even race on the track. Was it his decision or was it mine?
Hmm.
We can always find a reason for why something did not happen based on looking at us. When you move like that, you moved in a more empowered and elevated fashion because then and only then are you the true master of your domain.
Yeah,
Mm.
but I agree with you, and I just view it differently. So, example, like if somebody has resentment for the decisions that they made, and then they have resentments towards somebody else who made better decisions than they did, I see that as more as jealousy than resentment, even though they can be seen as similar. You know what I'm
Cousins.
saying?
They're
I'm
like
sorry.
they're like cousins.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. I see that they're related. I mean, you can have resentment for somebody who made better choices than you, but is that really resentment, or is that really you jealous of the position that?
Envy, right? What's the
Right.
difference between envy and jealous? Because I forgot this. It's a slight little difference, right? I think envy is you envy the person, or jealousy you envy the thing. What is this like? It's a difference between envy and jealous, and I think resentment is higher than both. I'm not sure, but there's a slight difference between jealousy and envy, and then resentment is like you held that in, you held envy and jealousy inside your core, right? I forgot it was somebody said the difference between jealousy and envy. Let me see if I can find it for y'all because that difference is gonna open up the discussion to the rabbit hole I want to go in. But what is the difference?
So far from what I've seen, is jealousy is has to deal with more of a community or more of a group style thing versus envy is more or less two parties. Like I envy you, you envy me. Jealousy is more or less like I envy the way people are jealous. I'm jealous of the way people cheat you versus me. I think it's just that's just off after me.
Oh,
Okay.
jealousy can be felt over something that belongs to you. On the other hand, envy is felt over what you don't have. But
Mm.
jealousy is caused by the fear of losing something or someone, as opposed to envy, which is due to lacking something. Right. Envy is due to, okay, wow. But then Dante says envy, you want what someone has. Jealousy is you don't want them to have it.
Ooh.
Hmm. Hmm. Jealousy is a feeling where in a person is under threat that someone is trying to take away that is possessed by him or her. We're not gender specific, over here, right? The other one is envy is a feeling of discontent in which a person covets someone else's possession, quality, or benefits.
One is more conquest driven. The other is more domination driven.
Envy is not just what you don't have, it's what drives the theft, murder, not jealousy. Is that true? Don
If you
Carrillo,
talk,
Jose,
I want to, yeah, I want to speak
Jose, not
to
Joe.
what Lucky said. In terms of what Lucky said,
Mm-hmm.
I actually agree with Lucky, and I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Envy is more covetous. Jealousy is what's this? Envy is this. Yo, I want that Brook Boston College hoodie. Damn, son.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, he getting it, man. I want that hoodie, man. Shit, nobody got it, man. That's envy. It's covetous. I want something that you possess,
Right.
right? And it doesn't matter if I like you or not. You can envy somebody you love. So it has nothing to do with that. Jealousy is this. No, you can't have my Red Bull. No. Yo, they I need a plug for this. They need to give me a commercial. No, you can't have my Red Bull. No, it's mine. Why you looking at my can, son? I seen you, yo. Why you at my fridge, kid? You know you trying to take my Red Bull, man. Yeah, I gotta watch that guy. He want my energy drinks, man. Envy and jealousy are both two different things. Envy is the thing that can create you going about your business to try and get something. And it will create a situation potentially where you're giving currency to something that's not real currency. You're giving currency to something that someone else possesses, right?
Mm.
And right. And then what happens is that's where everything begins to fall. Now, but and people will go hustle, kill, do whatever to get what they want, to get that same thing you have, not your thing, but the same thing. So I agree with Lucky on that part. But on the other side, when you talk about the jealousy,
Wait. Hold on.
that's way different.
Hold on.
That's way different.
Look what Farida says.
Yeah, that's exactly. I will say this. I don't agree with the part that it's something you can never have. That can be something, but I would jealous. If it's something that you're unable to obtain, then that's gonna be more jealousy based than it is envy based, right?
And even if it's
Jealousy though is different. Here's what jealousy is: more individually based. It's more targeted. Guess what? Remember we gave the dynamic of me wanting your hoodie and you
Right.
wanting my Red Bull, right? Here's the other part with jealousy. If I'm jealous of you, I don't like shit you do. Every success that you have is going to be something that burns my soul. Jealousy, envy is more mental. Jealousy, that's more to the pit of your gut. Jealousy is the thing that it's more of an emotion. It's much more of a stronger emotion, a negative based emotion, because at some point I don't even covet what you want. I'm angry by your happiness.
Wow.
I could drive a Rolls Royce Phantom, right? And I hate you so much. If you go from a Honda Civic to a Honda Accord, it's gonna piss me off because I hate you so much. That's jealousy. It's not even based in logic.
Right.
Envy is based in progression. Jealousy is not even based in logic. I could drive a Phantom and live in a mansion, and because you went from a one bedroom, you and I hate you so much, you went from a one bedroom to a two bedroom. That would piss me off. To me, that's jealousy.
Right.
That's a dangerous
Let me
thing.
ask you a question. It's a real question. So resentment is basically feeling jealousy and envy, but you're too soft to do anything about it.
No,
So you hold it in.
no, no. You talking about jealousy and envy? Are
No,
we
I'm talking
talking
about
about
resentment.
jealousy and
I'm talking
envy
about,
within a relationship?
but I'm talking about resentment. You're not hearing resentment.
Resentment.
Is resentment, jealousy, and envy held in, but you're too soft to do anything about it, like hurt the person. So you just hold it. You have resentment, but you're not doing nothing.
Nah, I don't believe that.
When it said bitter, it said
Personally,
resentment is bitterness because you've been treated unfairly. There's no actions to it. That's what the definition of the dictionary says. It's bitterness due to the fact you've been treated unfairly.
that's going to be in terms of, remember when I named out the seven, right?
Right.
One of them was pretty much the treatment, the understanding of the treatment, right?
Shout out to Alpha.
One-sided,
Great show this morning.
one-sided. One of them was one-sided feelings, unfulfilled expectations, feelings of being ignored, right?
Hmm.
So when you mention those, all of those play a part. All of those play a part, especially when you're talking about resentment. They are going to play a piece, you know.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Okay. So Will, how do
well,
you
I
feel
don't know.
about that? Oh, go for it, Black.
I don't think I don't think envy has to. I guess jealousy more is tied to resentment than envy, but I can also see how envy can be tied to resentment too. So I just feel jealousy is more tied to it based on the fact that you it's more of a feeling that you have and a more of emotional feeling that is like you say growing over time, whereas envy is more or less a sharp white and black emotion to, in my opinion. So I can't see resentment be on a white and black thing. I see it's more or less a progression of things.
Okay. You know, it's black and white day.
Yeah. Like in a black and white emotional, like cold, hot and cold. You know, like I don't see it being I don't see resentment being like such a thing to where the next day you're not resentful. I think it's more or less a growing emotion, whereas jealousy is a growing emotion. You grow to be jealous of people, or you may feel over time in your life to be conditioned to be jealous of somebody. Whereas envy is like, if I see somebody with something, I'm automatically envious of it, or
Right.
like, so it's there's no in my opinion, there's just no progression in envy.
Right. Right. So
Whereas,
I like what Lucky said. Let's not get caught up in lost subjective truths. Let us focus on the fact that at the end of the day, what causes resentment and what are things we can do within our relationships. So, for example, I've been going through a lot recently because of my departure from people. They have resentment towards me. What can I do in a romantic relationship or a platonic relationship or a business relationship to make sure that they minimize the level of resentment when I depart from that relationship? Or you can't do it, it's too late because I should have been doing something before. Because I've been going through this a lot, the resentment thing, so it must be coming back to me. I must be doing something wrong, because when every time I leave any relationship, the people feel like, yo, you did me dirty. Even though I am transparent with the ladies, it still feel like I did them dirty to them. So how do I navigate that?
How? it's it's going to be a certain level of realism that you're going to have to exhibit. And I'm literally going to quote some sentiments of Rashawn Dave that he left on the Troop Hill Community Garden page, talking about when leaders, when kings, when lions, when soldiers who tend to be warring, when they come to a table, they shouldn't come to the table simply with the thoughts of whatever negative infraction happened from one person to the other. They should be more humble and go to the table knowing that we all have participated negatively within this dynamic. We are all wrong. And now, what can we do individually or as a collective group to make it right? So, with that being said, one is communication, right? Communicating. So, we're at the table. That's a good part. We got that. Two, putting everything on the table and acknowledging your feelings. Acknowledging your feelings, because your feelings are going to be the precipitating factor or the driving impetus for why you're behaving or feel the way that you do, right? The next one is, if possible, pinpoint a way why you feel that way. Give them some sort of sonic resonance or some sort of modus operandi on how you think. Because what's that going to do? That's going to help you for the next discussion. You know what I mean? You're also going to have to think about exhibiting empathy. Because if truth, understanding, true discourse is what you really, really want, then you're going to have to exhibit empathy to actually be able to absorb that information and not look at it as bullets, but actually looking at it as positive energy that can educate you in that situation, right? And the last part is, it started, remember, the first one I said, it started with you and it's going to end with you, which is not holding a grudge.
Mm-hmm.
Not holding a grudge. Because holding a grudge is going to be the thing that keeps you a slave in bondage to that particular infraction when that person is long gone. And they have real estate in your head and your heart. Not holding a grudge is the way that you free yourself from personal bondage of one particular situation that can impede your further progress.
Mm.
That's all I got.
So
nah,
what I got from that is, um, maybe the past lovers I have resentment for me because I was intense, I was passionate, romantic, but when I left, I gave no closure. I just left. Like you saying, you got to come with you got to come without holding a grudge, and I don't hold a grudge, but I don't. If it's over, it's over. I don't want
No,
to
but
talk to
that
you afterwards. I don't want to talk to you. This go. You go this way, I go that way. That's it. That's
okay.
peace for me. Because if I rehash why I don't deal with you, then it might go left. So my thing is, we don't. It's not working out. Let me go this way. You go this way, and that's it. Everybody be at peace. What do you think, Will?
Well, no, I was just going to add to what Chef was saying because a lot of people have resentment and because they have feelings or the way they were treated, they haven't been able to address them or didn't feel like addressing them, so they just kept it inside and are just holding those feelings inside, but having resentment towards that other individual. So you have resentment when you one have never been able to address the things that are causing you to feel this way, and then or you may never have the opportunity to address these things. So like you said, it's there's no closure, and also weren't given the opportunity to forgive the person because you're still holding on to that resentment. So if you're still holding on to it, you haven't forgiven them. You haven't gotten over it.
Right. What about I just don't want to deal with it. Um
No, I mean that's your choice, but that's why somebody who you may have dealt with may still have resentment towards you because in for them in their situation they haven't had the closure that they need to move on from that. You know what I'm saying? So they're still gonna feel mistreated, even though you may feel you haven't mistreated them because they don't understand why things are the way they are now when it was differently before.
yeah, but and I agree. I think that's the issue. But what is the resolve for me to hear their feelings? If I hear their feelings and then what? It's still the answer is still the same. Like I like to cut the middleman out, right? No matter what you say is going to change. It's not going to change my mind. So why do we need to have a discussion and have closure?
Well, I mean, I can't answer that question. You have to ask them. But
Right.
some guesses that I can have is some people feel like maybe they could live up to those standards that you have. Maybe they felt like you didn't give them a long enough time to to prove to you that they can be who you really want them to be.
Right. Hmm. But why? See, that's the thing. Life is short,
Right.
and I'm a firm believer that I respect people's time and value. That's why every time I have a goal, I put a timetable on it. I said I'm going to do this in a few months. I'm going to do this in a year. I'm going to do this in 2 days. That's why college usually has 4 years, or any trade program has a certain amount of years you have to finish. You associate time with stuff, and when somebody doesn't do what you require them to do at a certain time, you have the right to discontinue that relationship as long as you let them know beforehand. If this is not met at a certain time, then I can't be with you. I don't have to explain, right? It's no explanation that is required. But then if you don't give them explanation, they hate you. Like with the court, they can't stand you. It's like I think people in relationships, they resent you because, in my opinion, you expose them for who they really are. No one resents you if you make them powerful or you make them better than they are. They only resent you when they left handicapped because
Well, they
of your
can they
actions.
can they can resent you for making them better if you're telling people you're the reason why they became that. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
you made somebody better, right?
right.
And then they made it up here, but then since you helped them, you told everybody, yo, he's only up there because I helped him get there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, but but no, I get that because I know girls that would try to say, "Well, I helped them do this. I helped them do this." But if you're so important, then why were you easily replaced? Right? Or if or like what you just said, they got mad because I told people, and I ain't do this, but if I told people they're the reason why they did, no, because if it's not true, why do you care? And then time will tell. Time will tell who's who. Time always shows who's
Yeah.
who. Like you could say someone did this for you. Like what Jay Z said to Dame. If you made Jay, make another one. And I love Dame Dash. He hasn't made another one. He hasn't even made another Beanie Siegels or Memphis
Well,
Bleak.
well,
And,
nah.
and James Dash is a genius. He's one of the best to ever do it.
Dame never made J though.
That's the whole point. That's the whole
They
point. That's the whole
Dame
point.
made
That's the
Dame
whole
made
point.
the deals.
But
Dame made the deal.
that's the whole point. You got it because guess what? It's that God complex.
He never said he made J though. Dame, that's the thing though. And I remember being in Pocket. Dame never said he made it. Dame specifically said on interviews, he didn't say I made it or I made
Brooklyn
you
made
or
home.
whatever. What he said was specifically, he said it was me and you up against them. And I was the one that was standing in front of you, giving them labels hell, putting them through hell. Remember, Jay was able to lay in Pocket, didn't have to sit in the room for them deals because he knew, especially as micromanaging Jay could be, Dame was in those rooms and Dame was going hard in the paint and he was at those folks' necks and he created a specific dynamic.
So why
But I
did
was
Jay
never
say
able
that?
to see anything on record where Dame said I made Jay.
But why did
He
Jay
said
say
it was,
that? Jay said it though.
of course. Why did he say it? Because he was making a song. He was making a song. In the same song, he's making a song. In the same song, he's talking about his wife too, about the shit that he dealt with his wife. You get what I'm saying? So why would he say it? Because it was going to become one of the top selling commercial songs on that project, which it was. Lost one. You get what I'm saying? You got shit. Chrisette Michelle singing to me taking a shit will sound like a hit, bro. Okay? So like, blah, blah. Anyway, what I'm saying is it was entertainment, it was music, and I think that he latched onto it, you know, but doesn't make it all real now. He was responding to the crowd. Just like somebody that'll be on the 4 squares or the 6 squares on this thing. And instead of commenting on something the blacks say, they will comment on something that the chat says. Right? So I believe he was speaking to the rumblings that were going on within that. You know, because the only thing that I know Dame talked about is the way his feelings was hurt. But he never went at Jay. His feelings was hurt.
Mm. Like I said, I'm going back to the fact that I do believe that people that resent you have a God complex and they want closure on their time. They want closure on their time and they feel like they have ownership of who you are and what you've become. And
But at one point when you invest in somebody, do you not believe that there should be some reciprocal actions back? At what point do you believe that is everything transactional? Once it's over, or is there some type of fairness and grace involved in which, hey, we got to sit down and have this meeting even though we don't want to?
no, I think I know I'm confused because earlier you said that you expect certain things back from your wife or anybody that you
Yeah, I was just
would.
saying anybody.
I mean, you give if you give something, you want something back. That's transactional,
Yeah.
right? That's a business. But if in love, you should expect anything back. You do it from the great bottom of your heart. This is why people. That's why I don't get, because if you really if you really care about somebody, you don't really want anything back
I
unless
disagree.
It's not pure. Like if you giving just to get back, it's not pure.
right.
You have ulterior
And
motives.
that's why the resentment comes in, because
Yeah.
you like, yo, hold up. I put in how that song go. Decent, how'd it go? I'm not just the Superwoman shit. How'd it go? 11 years of my heart. How'd that
Yeah.
song go? And
What
it my pride. I don't want to play that shit because I'm monetized right now. I don't want to lose no money.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not
Because
gonna
I'm
cry.
not
Mary J.
gonna
Blige.
cry. I'm not
Right.
gonna. I'm not gonna. And she was going, these
And you could live 11 years, and you could leave me at the drop of a dime.
drop of a dime.
But that's the point that she's
But
saying.
you know what I'm saying? I can't.
That's
I
the
can't
but
sing.
that's
But
the
you get
point
what
that
I'm
she's
saying.
saying, that you can't just drop somebody on the dime. There
Why
is
can't?
some,
Well, why can't you?
because there's some expectation of decency, investment.
It's decency or decency or you want to return on your intimacy, not investment, because we want to make it sound nice. You want an ROI. You want to turn your intimacy. Why you need a return for? That's like what Lauren Hill said. Lauren Hill goes, uh, he said people lie to God, so I know what they could do to me. She said in one of her verses, if they could lie to God, I know what they could do to me. God don't expect nothing back from you.
Yeah.
You don't expect nothing back from your children. You know the craziest thing I ever hear parents say? Oh man, when parents use their children for retirement plans, that's funny, because you're not supposed to expect anything back from your children, right? Why do you expect your wife to give you something back, and why is your wife to give you something back? Then that's not really your partner. That's your investment. And if that's the case, that's cool. If you make that clear, yo, you're an investment. That's cool. But why people feel like it, to me, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
There's to me, there's more of a hope thing than it is a quid pro quo thing. It's more of a hope thing than it is a quid pro quo thing. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you why. The same way when it comes to the investment of time and 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 acts of kindness and acts of love, it also goes to the positioning of when we're in a
Thank you,
dating
Wealthy
relationship.
Firefighter. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, Wealthy Firefighter. Thank you.
You know, where there is no quid pro quo. If I go to take a beautiful young lady to dinner and to a show,
Damn, we just lost.
I invite her out. There is no inherent guarantee, okay, that the boots will be getting touched. There's no guarantee,
Mm-hmm.
because in certain states that's illegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is no guarantee of a quid pro quo.
Right.
The only thing that I can do is show them the best version of me that I am, show them a good time, show them me in my best place with my best energies, and hope, that four-letter word, hope, that it will resonate and they will absorb it and they would want to spend further time with me. The only thing that we are lobbying for is not money, it's actual time. We want to show them that time with me is going to be worthwhile. Now, you go to the relationship part. There is no quid pro
Mm.
quo within the relationship.
Mm.
The woman will be placed into a dynamic where she's going to show you acts of kindness and acts of love, okay? So that, and with the hope that it will resonate with you in a certain way so that you will want to spend more time or the rest of your time on this planet with her, right? But it all comes back to the original point. All my points come back to the original point. The same way when it comes to us, the V word, vetting, because they are going to be leveraging themselves, their acts of kindness, and also vetting is going to be important as well. But all of it comes with hope and no guarantee. Now, this last piece before I drop the mic, right? I was just talking about the person who's doing the acts and doing all of that stuff, right? I'm just talking about them. Now, it's the person receiving that stuff. The person who receives it, loves it, that's going to be beautiful. And that's going to be a beautiful thing for that person because it's going to resonate sonically within them and emotionally. And that hope that she had is going to resonate. But then there's another kind of individual. That other kind of individual that recognizes that she is going to do everything she can do to get into my good graces. And because he knows the power structure within that dynamic will allow her to do everything she could do to get into his good graces, with him knowing that he's going to extract every bit of nectar from that tree before he bounces to a new tree. That is the E word. That's called exploitation. And that's different.
You know, it to me, like, once again, is when you start naming or keeping a scoreboard about what you've done for somebody, it takes away from the sincerity. One of the things you said, E Black, on the other show was, if your wife was to leave you right now, you would be you wouldn't be mad at her because of, you know, all the stuff she's got accomplished together. You wouldn't have any resentment. So that's because she has done a lot for you and you have done a lot for her. But if she didn't, would you feel resentment if she did leave you?
Well, I think you answered the question itself. I answered because she did. So
So
that's the reason why.
you felt like you got not your money's worth, but you got your romance worth.
Yeah, I think everything is pretty much even.
So there's a
I'm,
matrix.
I'm, I wouldn't say even. I would say more or less we're both happy in our situation, and we both
Right.
understand our role. So,
So no one got over on somebody. That's what it is,
yeah,
basically. So if someone leaves, you didn't take advantage of me, and I didn't take advantage of you.
yeah, and that's being figuratively. Of
Right.
course, if the shoe, if the hammer hit the nail, who knows what's gonna happen? But as of right now, I can't see that. So,
What do you think, Will?
Just to go on what you said. Do you owe anybody an explanation? No. Is that gonna leave room for resentment? Yeah, from the other person. But at the end of the day, like, that's on them.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? How long are they gonna hold on to this resentment before they move on with their life? You know, so like once they realize that, you know, what they had or um who they were with is no more, how long? Because, for example, like, my cousin is never coming home. Let me just put it like that, right? So, and his main I don't want to say it's an excuse, but his main reason for him being in there, he blames on his father, right? Not having a father. But it's like, how long are you going to use that for an excuse? You're past the age where your father would even be around anymore. So it's like, how long are you going to use that as an excuse to pick yourself up and move on with your life? And I look at resentment the same way. Like, yo, how long are you gonna be mad at this person and let this person affect your internal health, your mental health, before you move on with your life? So that's just my take on it. So initially, they they may feel that they deserve an explanation of why you separated, but once they understand that, um, it wasn't meant to be, or they're not going to get that explanation, then they have
Thank
to
you,
move
Bobby
on.
Tina. Bobby girl Tina, we miss you. Thank you. I hope everything with your family is resolved. And I appreciate you so much, Bobby girl Tina. Thank you. Well, so then it's my fault because they feel resentment towards me because I left the relationship or I felt something wasn't right and I wasn't willing to talk about it. And because I wasn't willing to talk about it, it made it seem like it was transactional. If you can't do what I want you to do, then you can't be around me.
Right.
I don't
Let me
consider
just say,
I don't consider transactional. I consider it me protecting my time.
Right. But here's the but. And I'm gonna use a metaphor. Usher can't sing on the stage and then go jump off and sit in the chair and clap for his own performance. There's Usher, and then there's his audience.
Right.
Usher performs for 50,000 people at an arena, and they say he sounded like garbage. Usher can't say, oh, it's because they ain't listened good or they ain't listened well. He's the performer, they're the audience. So now, if you wish for that person on the other side of the arena to understand where you're coming from, then you got to sing your song. If they don't like the version you're doing, then you better hit some runs, do a split, spin your ass around, and figure it out, right? Because they are the audience. Now, you got two options. As you see the audience start to get up and go, you got an opportunity to say, you know what? To hell with y'all. You don't listen and then go off stage, or you tell the band to kick it up and you start putting in your illest moves.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the choice always resolves within the realm of the king.
Mm-hmm.
You catch what I'm saying? So do you owe explanation to anyone? No.
Mm.
But if you as a leader, and everything rises and falls on leadership, and we understand that just a few more words, right, can make a difference in creating peace where somebody can create a lack of peace for you, then those few more words become currency. Perfect example, corporate executive. I hire a few hundred, literally 100 people a year. I have to terminate many people a year.
Mm-hmm.
I have to deny people promotions. I have to tell them something. I don't just say, yeah, King, you ain't get that position, man. All right. No. One of the things that we do with regards to responsibilities, there's a job where there's 5 positions open and 35 people applied. Before I let the 5 know who got it, my responsibility is to let the other 30 know why, know that they did not get it, and give them some sort of coachable moment so that they can move forward in the future and not be crushed and devastated or say, oh, VP Chef is a son of a bitch. He hates me. He doesn't like black people. He don't like Asian people. He doesn't like, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm creating peace and also giving somebody a teachable moment so that when they sit in front of the other guy, they will understand instead of me just saying nope and then allowing them to stew within themselves and make me the scapegoat of their pain when actually I could have pointed to something within them that would have helped them move further. My job is not to be with every single woman that I was with. God didn't want me to be with every single woman that I was with till the end of my life. There's one. But he made sure in terms of the education, the knowledge, the experience that I had, that I was going to be some sort of lesson to someone, positive or negative, and I understand that piece. But at the end of the day, if I consider myself a king, if I consider myself a boss, a Rajiv, then I have to recognize that it all rises and falls on me. I'm not just creating allies. Potentially, I can create enemies. And I have to understand the power I hold within that dynamic.
So you say I have to. So you're saying people have to give explanations for the decisions?
No, that's not what I said. you don't have to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do nothing.
Not have to, but
if you're no. I'm saying you don't have to do nothing.
Right.
But if you are a farmer, you're responsible for the growth of the corn or the lack thereof. So what do you choose to do? You don't have to fertilize that soil. It's a choice.
Right.
Okay? But it might be the difference between bigger corn or some sour shit. But if we're a boss, we're not going to be able to control everyone else. But the only thing we can do is control what we can control.
Mm-hmm.
And understand the power of each of the single words, including punctuation that we use.
Right.
When communicating with somebody else.
Right. So with me at least, I get that you don't have to do it, but for the sake of peace and sustainability, you want to give explanations of why you make the decision you make. But it doesn't mean they can accept it and there can still be resentment. But me, as a 41-year-old man, I don't ever want to give an explanation unless I have to, because I believe I give transparent boundaries and guidelines and instructions about what I want.
You never have to, though.
No, I give that. Because when I leave, you should already know why I left, because I already gave transparent boundaries and guidelines about what I required in the relationship. So you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like when they sentence you, they tell you why you got sentenced, right? We know what I'm here for. Just give me my time and we go start this right now. We know. You don't gotta tell me. But it's like in our society we still gotta do the post discussion. And I don't want to do the post discussion, because that post discussion is gonna make things get, I'd rather just fade away.
See, like King is very clear in transparent in what he wants from his woman, what he wants his woman to look like. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in knowing all of these things, you should know everything that he wants and everything that he's looking for. So he's pretty much saying like, yo, I'm upfront honest with what I want from a woman, what I want them to look like, how I'm going to treat them, how they should treat me. And he don't want to have to spell it out for you after too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he feels like he shouldn't have to repeat it over and over again. And you should know before getting into it whether you're even eligible. You know what I'm saying? Whether you even meet the qualifications, because I already told you what it is. But it's like, it goes back to like the videos that we did earlier too, though, because why the women jump into that, right? Because what did we say? We had a number of reasons, but one of them is like, they think they could change you. They think that, okay, if you see this part of them, you're gonna overlook the other things.
Right.
So Willie. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, watch this. Yes, thank you for meeting with me today, Mr. Dean. One of the things we're meeting about is regarding the Code of Business Conduct. On January 1st, 2021, you did complete a training based on what your understanding of the Code of Business Conduct was, and you were advised that having certain subsets of behaviors potentially could lead you to suspension or termination of your job. You did state a level of understanding about that. And you were coached on April of 2021 regarding one of the infractions that you had, as well as on June of 2021. So, Mr. Dean, based on those specific infractions and the information contained therein, you are being terminated. Your employment is being terminated. Now, I say this to you. That's what terminations look like, right? We don't just, she come home and then all your shit is gone. The flat screen, the Xbox, your shoes, your everything. Normally there's a conversation. It's like, yo, I told your ass I'm finished and I'm leaving your ass and
But
we
chef,
gone. Right? I'm not. So here's the thing. I'm not saying that King. Remember, I parsed my words. I did not say that you owe anything. I didn't say you have to do anything. What I'm saying that is, if I'm controlled, I allowed this person, this human being, this creature into my home. So now I'm expelling them from my home. How I expel them from my home can create a dynamic of what comes next. I don't owe them anything. I don't have to say a thing, right? I don't have to say a thing. All I'm saying is I know what I'm dealing with. And sometimes me not talking them off the ledge can be a situation where they come through the window. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you got to do this or you have to do this. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes for some people, it's a difference between life and death. Sometimes for some people, it's the difference between her saying, I understand and going to get help or her throwing acid on your face. There's a difference. You see what I'm saying? So I'm about being in control of all of the assets within that playground and understanding what's a tool and what's a hindrance and what can be weaponized against me.
Yeah,
But I'm in control.
but it also depends on the infraction, right? So in corporate America, they do it your way, and even when you go in college, they have an exit interview. When you leave, you have to explain how you're going to pay all of everything you borrowed, or how you're going to pay the rest of the remainder, or you're not going down, you're not going to graduate, right? And in corporate America, they have what Chef said, but they also depend on the infraction. You might not be allowed back in the building no more. We'll mail your stuff to you. It could be that blunt in corporate America. I seen when I'm not allowed in the Sony building because I was about to on 555 Madison because I was going to choke on the Zach. This is a fact. This is a fact. I'm not even making this up. So, and I didn't realize it until one day I came. It's like, no, you can't. You're not allowed.
My office is in that building. That's funny.
So with that being said,
Yeah.
so it depends on what you do. It don't have to be explained. You gotta go.
In actuality, it does though. Even what'll happen is they have to have some sort of verified communication with you to tell you. It's the equivalent of some police can't trespass you from Walmart without Walmart having asked you to leave and you said no. So even with the job, they're letting you know, yo, such and such, you're being terminated. We need your badge immediately. Okay. Or your badge has been deactivated. Right. There's always some sort of protocol. If you just cut somebody, naturally remove them from a dynamic without everybody's not sharp as you are.
Shelly, you got two people in here. Which one are you? She got two people in here. Let me see. Yeah, so that's. But you get what I'm. What I just know at the end of the day is I don't know. Shelly, that's you.
This me. Y'all can hear me on this one?
What's the other one?
Yeah.
I think I clicked out and then it was like, I don't know.
Yeah, you got two people in here. Okay, kicking that one out.
Yeah, the other one out.
So you could join the show, and I need you because I need you for many reasons. But one of the reasons I need you for is because you're one of the people that inspired the next the main topic, unknowingly, and I'll explain to you why after you say with your comments.
Okay, so this what I can say.
Turn the lights up.
I think, and I'm not even gonna say it's a man or a woman type of thing, because I think there are some men who move off emotions, and I still think there are some women who are logical. Even though people like to feel like, oh, all men are logical, all women are emotional. I think it's backwards sometimes. I'm a logical person, and I think that that's taken as masculinity. But this is the thing. This is the reason why people need closure. Or it's like this. A person has standards, but if they move off emotions, they will constantly eat a bunch of undigestible stuff, thinking that in the long run things will change. So even if I say I'm not a one woman type of girl, you will never be my husband, I don't want kids, in their minds, I'm telling them, oh, as long as you stay here for a long time, eventually you're going to get what you want. So it's not even about being mad at you. It's just about, I took all this pain, all this time. I took and held on. I was embarrassed. I was hurt. And I wasn't expressing myself because I was thinking that eventually I would get what I want. Even though I came in a situation and you was telling me I'm never going to have that, they just holding out for hope that you'll change your mind. So it's really not even about you. It's just about how much did they allow that they really wasn't coming, it really wasn't natural to them. Like I'm the type of person to say, oh well, I like say women who can just sleep and no strings attached. I know that I'm a person that's going to be emotionally attached. So I'm always going to shut down type of situations that's like, oh, it's just like no strings attached, we just smashing. I'ma never do that because I know myself. But if a dude feel like I really like him, he's gonna feel like I should forget what I know. And sometimes people do forget what you know about yourself, and you play yourself in this position thinking that in the long run you'll get what you want. Now,
Right.
if you don't get what you want in the long run, now you really mad at yourself. But this is the thing. That's where the resentment comes from. That's where the
Right.
envy and the jealous come from.
Right.
Because I tell women this all the time. You can let a man cheat on you, can let him beat on you, can let him mistreat you all the time. I'm telling you right now, 9 times out of 10, a man, the moment you cheat back, the moment you treat him like he treating you, he's gonna walk away. I want you to understand that they have some people, they have a standard, they stick to their standard. You are not gonna treat them any kind of way.
Nope.
Even if they treat you any kind of way, they not. And that's what they jealous of. They jealous that you can stand your ground. They jealous that
Wow.
you strong in who you are. They jealous that, yeah, I could play in and out your life and in and out your face, but you ain't gonna do that over here. And then they feel like, well, I took 10 years of this, and you don't deserve nothing. Cause you let me play with you, which means you showed me what I could do to you. You showed me I could get away with that. Now, if you was feeling all this inside yourself without expressing it, then you had an alternative motive to change me. And now that you see that you can't change me and I'm stronger who I am and I'm about to dip, now you feel played. Now you hurt. Now you full of resentment because you was hating yourself all this time thinking you could change me. Thinking that it was gonna be a prize at the end of the day. And I already told you that there ain't no jack in the box. You see what I'm saying? So it's not even mostly about the person that did it to them. It's about themselves. Because a long time ago they knew they should have left. Even with, you know what I'm saying? Even with I was your love and your secretary, I stuck through this and this. That means you really didn't want to. Because if I enter a situation and I love a person for who they is, and that's all I ever wanted you to be, I'm telling you now, when I walk away from it, I don't hate you. I'm always have love for you. Everything not forever. But a lot of people don't get that concept. Because guess what? They got people that's dead and gone that I love with
Right.
all my heart that I could never see again. Just because they can never have another special moment with me, it means every moment we ever shared wasn't special. So when you with a man and y'all had good times together, when it comes to an end, or when you with a woman and y'all had all these good times and it comes to an end, why you dismiss everything? Because that
Selfish.
wasn't enough. The whole time it was never enough for you. You had an alternative motive. You wanted that ring. You wanted that status. You wanted whatever they wasn't even willing to give you. And you stuck by. Like this, if I go to HEB and I'm looking for turkey and HEB tell me they ain't got turkey, that's a grocery store in Texas. I'm gonna go to Walmart. If Walmart don't got it, I'm gonna go to Target. They got people in Target looking for something that ain't there, and they wait every day. They go to Target instead of going to Walmart. They go to Target every day, every day, every day, and it's like people not gonna always. Everybody not gonna move around you just because you allow people in your life to do whatever to you.
Spitting. Several spitting. I hope y'all recording
it
this.
just it just don't mean that everybody gonna stand. I know a girl who got cheated on for years. She cheated one time back and the man left her. That's his right.
Right.
You lost because you decided to not stand your ground in who you is. I don't care who come in and out of my life. If you here, it's because you want to be here. but you love and accept me for me, because that's all I'm going to be. I'm not pretending. I don't care if you think I'm masculine. I don't care if I'm rude. I don't care if I'm bold. I don't care. I'm me. So if you here, you're going to be here for me. I'm not pretending to be nobody else. You know how hard it is to wake up and pretend to be somebody else? That's your resentment, because you woke up every day and treated yourself like I was a woman who could handle this, thinking that you was going to win something.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Cheryl. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I wasn't such a playboy, I'd probably talk to you because of your mindset. But I like multiple women, so it's over. It's over. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. With it, but I was just joking about that, my love. But I want to say something. Everything you said was real. It was, and I'm glad you ended that session with that amazing, amazing. And I got your sister up here too, so I'm gonna put her up here, but I'm gonna wait. I want to ask Brittany, give me 1 second because we about to switch real quick. The next topic was indirectly inspired by Cheryl. The main topic. I got 4 phone calls, 5 texts, and 2 drum signals about how Cheryl went off on Chef's show. And she went up to the point that people was calling me to go and check it out. It woke me up in the morning to go and check it out. And she went off and she was holding her own among some men, 5 men, 5 very intelligent men. But she went off, and it was considered a tyrant, like she was going like screaming everything. But she said something that was real, and I decided to create the main topic based off of it. She said, "How could you say you protecting a community when you're not marrying your own woman and you're not even being fathers to your own children and building the children up?" Was that kind of what you were saying, right, Cheryl?
Yeah, because it's this whole pro-black concept, right?
Yeah. So she said that, but you know me, I'm a global man. I don't want this. I don't want to say pro-black because I want every dollar. So I want to say global, right?
Right.
So I made a topic up today, and I looked it up before I put it because I didn't want any problem. Because that topic, that word alone, might get me demonetized. I got 1 video that's not monetized, 2 videos actually, and one of them says abortion. The other one I think has something to do with abuse. There's certain words like abuse that if you put it on the thumbnail or you put it whatever, or that R word, it will get demonetized. And I said the word, so I'm not getting monetized. But I want to say the definitions right now. There's 4 different main types of child abuse, and this is why I said Cheryl might be like a genius. And I didn't know this was a child abuse at all. And my father he worked for the Bureau of Child Welfare. He says the 4 different main types of child abuse are physical abuse, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse. And the 4th one is neglect. Let me say it again. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and neglect. So when Cheryl said, "You're not even there with your family as black men," that hit me so hard. And it's not like men do it intentionally, right? But if you have multiple baby mothers, and Cheryl comes from a family of 13 kids, am I correct?
17 of us.
17. You that's why I need you up here, because I couldn't get in the canon. So at the end of the day, it's like neglect, unintentional neglect is a form of abuse, child abuse. So for us black men to have multiple children by multiple baby mothers, we're neglecting, aka abusing the children based on definition. Please let me know if that's right or wrong, or maybe I'm overlooking it. Starting with Cheryl, bless me, Willie, E Black, and when Chef comes back, let me know.
Correct.
Wow.
That's 100% correct.
Wow.
That is abuse.
Wow. Can you go deeper now? You know, we don't want to end
Maybe
the show.
maybe it's
Show like
indirect
that.
abuse because
Right.
it might be indirect abuse. You may not intentionally wake up like, yeah, I want to abuse my child, but you are indirectly, if you're putting someone who didn't ask to be here in a situation where you're gonna no longer take any part in, like you're just gonna completely walk away from.
No, no, not walk away. I'm talking about even they are involved in a child. That's why I like Nick Cannon. And I know Chevel's father was involved with all the children. But if they're not all in the same house, that's still considered neglect.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know there are certain circumstances where there is no other choice. So I don't want to call it all the time neglect just because a parent isn't there, because sometimes they just can't be. The environment is detrimental. Like there are different reasons, but for a situation like a Nick Cannon or like what Sherelle explained, yeah, that's just you choosing to, spread your seed throughout everywhere without any real consideration for all of these humans that you're creating. And children need their fathers, daughters need their fathers, and boys need their fathers. So even if you think because you see them every weekend or every other weekend or you send some money, your son and your daughter need you present day to day. They need an example of what a man is. They need an example of what a husband is. They need an example of how a man should treat a woman and how a man should carry himself. So when they don't see that, and then your daughter ends up on the pole or she ends up sleeping with everyone who smiles at her, is because of the lack of attention she didn't get from you. So she has no standards now. And the same thing with your son. Your son is super feminine because all he's been left with is women. That's a reflection of the lack of presence on your part. So I think it is abuse in a weird way.
Wow. And I don't want to disrespect Nick Cannon because we will possibly be doing business with him real soon. I don't want to drop that out there like that. But we will possibly do business with him soon. So with that being said, hopefully, if it works out, grace of God. But if not, it doesn't matter. We speak the truth, right? And in the interview, they asked him, he's all of them are taken care of, and he said he makes it to all the events, or I believe seven of them. Um, so if it's a unique situation where someone's financially able to take care of them, but can he truly be there for all of them and all their needs, like Willie Dean is? If he has all his children in one house, if one is sick, if both of them sick, they both can get the same attention. If he had them in two different homes, somebody's gonna get neglected. So, would you like to speak on that? And
Yeah,
neglect, the definition, neglect is the form of abuse, child abuse. It says now adult with child abuse.
all I'm gonna say is that the more roofs that your children are under, the more variables involved. You know, the less you're able to protect, the less time you're able to protect, the less time you're able to, raise that child the way you would like them to be raised. So, is it a form of neglect? Whether it's unintentionally or whether it's intentionally, I mean, you have to say what it is, and how you define neglect. Just not being around. So if you're not around during their times of need and able to be there when they need you, like say let's say you have multiple kids and they all sick at the same time, but they're all under different roofs. What are you just gonna do? Just be driving around in circles, just making different stops to attend to your kid? Like that's really unlikely. Like you said, I'm not speaking bad on anybody's situation, because there are circumstances where let's say you don't get complete custody of your children, and for whatever reason you have to separate from the mother. Like sometimes the abuse can be out of your control. If you're not able to have your kid with you full time. So there are a lot of special cases out there to where um even though it may be under the umbrella of being abuse, it's also out of that individual's control. So, but
Right.
that's another reason why I always say, look, it's not. There's no woman out here worth me risking losing my kids. You know what I'm saying? Just because I want to be involved in every aspect of their life as much as I can.
All right, let me connect it for y'all. You get it? Resentment, neglect during child upbringing leads to a child resenting their parents. And it wasn't their parents' fault because their parents maybe didn't get along with the original moms or has to live with the new lady or vice versa. Sometimes it's not the parents' fault, but the resentment, like someone said, at the end of the day, abuse will last a lifetime. Loverboy Lensky, because neglect of a child is a form of child abuse based on definition. So, with that being said, Cheryl, I don't want you to go down here with me if you don't want to go down here with me because it's your personal business. But I want to ask a few questions if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I'm an open book. The man with no secrets can't be exposed.
All
The
right.
woman with no secrets can't be
First of all,
exposed.
Sherelle, before you start, man, I'm not sure if you started your page already or not, but if you haven't, it's
Please,
definitely needed
please.
because a lot of people need to hear what you're talking about, and I agree with a lot of what you be saying.
Word. And
Thank you.
Cheryl, for real, we bringing a whole garden to wherever you go. You know that. Listen. So, Cheryl, did you ever feel neglected by your father, knowing that you still talk to him and he loves you, but because he wasn't there at times that you needed, because you had a good relationship, but
Oh, but this is the thing. I never felt neglected by my father because I've been with him every day of my life.
oh, so
I'll tell you,
you were the
yeah,
youngest, you were the second to youngest.
I'm the baby, so
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
my
okay,
daddy was a single father with me and my brother.
okay.
And we was always together. Now, think about it. I remember running away. I remember my daddy coming back to kidnap me. Cause who am I? I
Right,
am his.
right,
I there is no outs because I'm for him. You see what I'm saying? Because my dad's real strict. The person that I could say that I felt neglected by is by my mom. So if I'm raised by a single father, that means my mom is not in the picture all the time, right? So I definitely have feelings of neglect, and I can tell you, like, it changes you. It changes you because when a child is born, it's an empty cup and it needs to be filled. One with mother's love, one with father's love. There's no such thing as a mother's love is stronger, a father's love is stronger. Both love is needed because both parents are needed to even create that child. So both parents are needed to form that child into a functioning adult. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when we don't do that, and don't get me wrong, let me tell you, my daddy was married. I may have a couple of siblings who are the same ages. My dad would bring those children in the home. His wife at the time would have to accept it. Because if you're accepting me, you're accepting my outside kids. They all know all of them had different mamas because we're all
mm-hmm,
different ages.
mm-hmm,
All of them had different mamas. They were still in the house
right,
together. They didn't care. And like I tell people like I tell men all the time, it's not about money because we will always say my daddy never was the best provider. He never was a rich man, but one thing he did was he was gonna have us. That's why dudes will go out and be in the streets to take care of they broke mama. The mama who can't even buy them Jordans, the mama that says she ain't got McDonald's money. Why he still love that lady?
mm,
Because she's there. It's not about what you can get them financially all the time. It's about if your child get a scar on his arm, you know it wasn't there yesterday because you know your child, right?
right,
I'ma see you. I need to know how you smell. I need to know I need to touch you. I need to feel you. So yeah, it definitely it's like and now we got all of these half empty adults walking around
mm-hmm,
because they're carrying around that neglect. And we're not the biggest advocates for mental health and going through the different type of things that we need to heal from it or having those conversations. So it's like it's constantly going on. And
right,
I'm not saying that there's not situations where people are going to break up. What I'm saying is a lot of times I ask people why y'all have kids why they have kids. A lot of the reasons is King, they just wanted to have sex. They did not plan on marrying this woman.
Right.
They did
Well,
not plan on
before you
marrying
go
this
there, because
man.
I want to get to that. I want to get to that. So here's the question. Um, when I brought up that question to the fellas in the room, not to the ladies, because I got a question for the ladies. To the fellas in the room, should men, because the definition of neglect is considered child abuse with multiple baby mothers and children, should men be more intentional with who they get pregnant? Can't hear you. Hello?
Yeah, but this is very
Shout out
important.
to Tristan for being a new member of the King's Court. I appreciate you. You're new. You're gonna get the new exclusive footage of me tying my shoes. I appreciate you, man. I fuck with you. You're gonna get some fly shit. Thank you. I'm sorry, Chef.
Now you good. So when we're using the terms about child abuse, right? The actual term really relates to child neglect. Why? If you as an adult are in a place where there's another adult somehow abusing the child and you do nothing to stop it or report it, you can be held also for endangering the welfare of that minor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 types: physical neglect, medical neglect, educational neglect, and emotional neglect.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 4. We can't conflate anything else with
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay. And if we're actually, let's do it clinically, or let's do it litigiously, as though we're lawyers in the legal system working litigiously within a courtroom. Here's the first thing. The first thing is that the crime has to be some sort of a real crime, right? But now let's look at it from all sides. Are we going to call somebody that has a child with someone and now they're not in that household any longer? Can we call them an abuser?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Look from 4 sides. I'm sorry.
What I said is that if we have a person that has a child with someone and now that person is no longer the auspices of that home with that child and their mother, do we call that person an abuser? Because that's the line, that's the road we're walking right now, right? Now, maybe it's just a rabbit hole, who knows? But that's the line we're walking right now. Do we call it an abuser?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say she didn't leave? Who's to say she ain't feel Pookie and Ray Ray up the block and bounce? How are we going to hold somebody accountable as an abuser for a situation just based on the fact that they had the child? Do you think that when they had the child, they were expecting that to take place? You know, and then we're also making assumptions. We're making assumptions.
Right.
There's men whose women have left with the child. And those men went to move to the state where that woman moved to just so they could be around their children.
Mm.
That neglectful because the father is not within the confines of that brick and mortar home? Is he neglectful? Both my son's mother and my daughter's mother in New York, they both lived in my home. Not the same house. FYI, I'm not that smooth. All right. When I was down here working on this project and that project, Miami here, there, the other, the 2 of them were able to get together and be able to connect where my siblings were together. Watch this. My lady and the mother of my children, we vacationed together.
Mm-hmm.
We've all broke bread and had dinner together. They love who I'm with. So when we talk about abuse, nah, I don't call it abuse. There's desires that we as children have had where we wish we can wake up and go jump into the bed with mommy and daddy. We recognize that. But we recognize lifetime and everything that we have within the world. It doesn't create that dynamic for all of us. So, are my children abused? No, no. My children are very well taken care of because I created a dynamic by which I am not the main impetus of all of it. Even though I'm daddy and I'm going to be daddy, I also represented that within this dynamic. I'm not just a wall or the ceiling. There's other things that create what's called in architecture load-bearing walls. Not just the foundation, but the load-bearing walls and undergirding that make everything stronger. That's the culture you set forth by virtue of the person that you are. Not just the father you are to the kids, but the kind of person you are to the person that you left or left you. Because guess what? If she leaves you, she's still going to determine if you was a good dude, if you're going to see them or not. Okay? So at the end of the day, the whole abuse correlation, I don't rock with it because there's too many moving parts. There's too many moving parts. You know, if you're going to blame him for the abuse, then you may want to blame her for, let's say, the argument that she could have let go or this, that, and the other. It's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not leaning on one mantle. I'm just saying there's too many moving parts to just call it abuse like that.
Okay. Okay. E Black. Should men be more intentional with who they get pregnant because neglect is considered abuse in our community? And like I said, we're going back to the discussion that Cheryl had with Chef on his page one day. Is it neglect by having multiple children with multiple babies?
You know, I would like to make it very clear that
And thank you, Juan. I love you. I appreciate you. And thank you, Chris, for being another member and getting the King's Crest. Thank you so much.
You know, I want to be very clear in regards to when we talk about absentee fatherhood. There's a difference between the doctor who works maybe 80 hours and the trucker who's off road, or the person who's in a service who has to take 2 years off. You know, it's all about intentions. So these people, I think, are excluded. There are certain groups of people who are excluded from the household or from the conversation in regards to neglect. Neglect, in my opinion, is those who are abandoning without repercussion, not sending money back, not being involved in calls, and not being intentional with their actions in terms of how they are communicating with their child's mother or their children. So I want to make that very clear that there are men who are not in the household but are handling their business, and they are ensuring that the household is taken care of, and they are making the sacrifices that are necessary to ensure the development of their children. With that being said, when men have multiple babies, through whether it's through different women or multiple babies with the same women, and do not take care of their responsibilities, yes, that is a form of neglect. That is a form of putting their children at a disadvantage to the system. I think we talk about food with Chef a lot, right? If you're not feeding them the necessary nourishment, then that would be considered neglect. Sometimes you have children who eat nothing but just cupcakes all day. That's a form of neglect. Even though they're being nourished, they're still being neglected by not getting the necessary they're not getting the necessary nourishment that is needed, which is why fathers need to be involved to ensure that they're getting necessary nourishment. So yes, in and not to sound all over the place, but I would like to be very specific. Yes, when men have children and have no wherewithal or not willing to take care of their seeds, they are guilty of neglect.
Child abuse.
Yes.
Okay. To the ladies.
You said, now, I normally say, pardon me if I'm being literal, that line. Nah, I'm being literal. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Watch this. And this is the pushback to you, E Black.
No problem.
And I'm only going to use your words, right? You said, when men, what? When men,
Intentionally have babies and
oh, yeah, wait. No. You said, when men have, the last part was, when men have children, right?
yes.
Okay?
Well, hold on. That was the second question. I had the second
Hold on.
question right here. Oh man,
When men have children, okay?
I had
And
the
I'll
second
even
question.
put in the subset intentionally.
Yeah.
Bro, you probably want to change that one too
Turn the lights up.
when the man ejaculates, because the expulsion of that ejaculate, that is the last bit of power he possesses. That alone, that is his control over life, not death, over life or no life. He never has to, he doesn't possess the power to control having, right? It's her. So now, if we're going to be truly clinical about it, then
Yeah.
we can't do like the court system and says, oh, well, E Black dropped Chef off to the crime. You know, he dropped him off at the mall and then Chef robbed the mall and now E Black is going to be complicit. No.
But if I drop you off at the mall knowing that you're gonna do a crime, then yeah, I am complicit. So if
knowing,
I drop my seed
knowing,
off at the mall knowing that it's gonna end up being a baby, then yeah, I'm complicit because I know what the actions that I'm taking do become criminal
Facts.
act.
That's a fact.
Yes,
yeah,
E Black. Yes.
That's a
but
Yes,
now
it
fact.
get
does.
this.
That's a fact.
So once again, in terms of the level of control, somebody else has control over what takes place, E Black. Technically, it's not a life, right? Until a certain point. So, no, clearly states not to spill his seed on the ground or infertile soil, right? But we're talking a little bit past that point, right? What I'm saying is, bro, how much are you putting when you said has the choice to have that child? He actually doesn't. He does not have the choice to have that child. It's
Let me ask a second question. So, please, because you about to go there. You about to go there. So let me ask a second question. I wrote it down, man. You see my chicken scratch? Check it out. And it's for the ladies. Because Chef is about to go there. So let me ask the ladies, and Chef could go back and speak the gospel. And him and E Black could go back and forth. Because that was a great debate. And I think Bliss Me was leaning towards what E Black was saying. But I understand what Chef is saying. Because a lot of my brethren say the same thing. I don't agree with it, but they do say that. This is for Chef. This is for Bliss Me and Sherelle. Can women be blamed for initiating the abuse based on the fact that they are the ones who ultimately determine the children comes to the world? So basically, should you be blamed for the neglect of your child, knowing that the father didn't want the child or wasn't capable of taking care of the child, but you decided to have the child? Or are
Absolutely.
you an abuser?
Absolutely. I think the woman
You said say that
is
again.
to blame for that.
I want the people in the back of the garden to hear this. By the ones by the tulips. Can you say that again?
I said absolutely. If you know for a fact, and let me be clear, I don't have children and I do not condone abortion. I have never had an abortion. I've just been very careful. So let me start with that. But so I'm not telling anyone what they should do with their bodies. But what I will say is if you know what the situation is and you choose to have your kid, I'm with you. I would have my kid. I'm just saying if that ever happened. But Yeah, I'm responsible at that point. If I know this man done told me 20,000 times he don't want no kids and he's not trying to do X, Y, and Z, the moment I decide that I'm going to have this kid, I am consciously deciding to raise a child without a father. And so, yes, I'm responsible.
So you are now the abuser, and the weight doesn't go into the man anymore. I just want to ask that question.
I think it goes to both. It goes to
We
both.
just said the woman's fault.
It
Chef,
goes
what
to
do you?
both.
I mean, Sherelle. Then we go to the men. Sherelle, what do you think?
Okay, I'm about to cook,
Oh,
but let me ask you something.
oh boy, me?
Yeah, you.
I don't have any kids.
You're a sexually active man, right?
No, I haven't had sex in years.
You okay? But you used to, right? You're a
Oh,
man of a
yeah.
certain age, right?
No, I'm sexually active. I tear it up. I tear it up sometimes.
How come you don't have kids?
I'm the pull-out king.
Like, but a lot of people still have kids.
I
So
know.
how come you don't have
I
kids?
know. But the thing is, I tell women before I date them, I come from a two-parent household. None of my siblings had kids out of marriage. I want kids after marriage. I make that very clear in the first.
Oh, so you're intentional, is what you're saying. So
I'm,
that's why your
I'm, I
results
do,
are
but
the results.
I do
Right.
go raw, Cheryl. I do go raw, but I won't let off inside them. That's why I won't do.
Okay. So now let me cook.
Oh
I'm gonna
boy.
tell you.
Oh boy. But if I do get a
If
girl pregnant, oh shit, for all kids. When I do get her pregnant, I'm gonna marry her before the baby comes out. I got to, because I'm not having it.
okay, so this is my thing because as a woman with no kids, and you and E, y'all both should be able to relate to this. A
That
lot of times
hold
people
on, hold
make
on,
it
hold on,
seem
hold on, Cheryl. That's funny. The best rapper alive. Danique, that was funny. But give me the access code for the clips, man. I can't open your clips, brother. Please, brother. Please, 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 please. I'm sorry, Cheryl.
it's all right. Y'all ready?
Ready.
Okay, so boom. I get a lot of pushback like, oh, it could have been you. No, it couldn't have been. Because I'm intentional. Because I know I'm not. I had one of my exes was schizophrenic. And we used to go through a lot with his mental health. And a lot of people used to say, oh, y'all are engaged, y'all gonna get married, y'all need to have a baby. This is gonna change him. No, it's not. Because kids don't fix schizophrenia. Actually, there's no cure for it. You have to keep on going through different trials and tribulations with the different medications,
Right.
right? Okay, now if this man
Turn the lights up.
is mentally ill, if
Mhm.
this man has an addiction, if this man can't control himself, which means if he's the father of my child, then 9 times out of half the time, guess what? My child could obviously get his disease, right?
Mhm.
Why would I do that to my child? Why
It's
would I give
giving me illness,
why
right?
would I give my child a father that's mentally ill and incapable of being able to be a stand-up guy for him all the time?
Well, what is
Why
he?
would I give my child a father that's an abuser? Why would I give my child a father that to a man that can't commit? Because if a man can't commit, then he's just not a committal man. Why would I give my child a father to a man who don't work? Why
That's
would I give my child
All
a
right.
father to a
But
man that goes in
Sherelle,
and out of
Before
Sherelle,
jail?
wait. Before we
Sherelle.
continue,
wait,
we wait.
hold on.
We
Everybody's about
talk
to
about
go.
hold on. We talk about science the same way Facebook
Yeah.
and Twitter, where if we're gonna be talking about science, now they start to put different stuff on there. We got to, yeah. There was something that was stated about mental illness and schizophrenia, so we have to be journalistically or exhibit journalistic integrity. So Google is mental illness genetic. Mental illness is not a trait, so it cannot be passed down directly from parent to child. The genes that have the potential to activate mental illness can be passed from parent to child. Mental illness cannot be genetic. There's two different pieces related to it. If we're going to talk about it, we have to speak to both
But she's
pieces.
speaking to the type of father he's going to be.
Right, but bless me though.
She's speaking to the
This is,
type of father he's going to be.
We
but this
talk
what I'm
about when you
saying. Like
use
Wait,
science,
somebody,
one at a
you
time.
use science,
One at a time.
using
Wait,
science,
one at a
science
time.
opinion.
One at a time. One at a time.
I just Googled it. It says, like many illnesses and diseases, mental health disorders tend to run in the family and can be passed down from parent to child.
Wait, you read that, right?
The risk increase even more if both parents have mental health disorder or a health disorder. If I have a sickle cell trait, my baby daddy have a sickle cell trait, my child is going to have sickle cell. Now, it's not 100% foolproof that my child will have it, but it's in the genes. Just like if diabetes run in your family, if heart disease runs in your family, if cancer runs in your family. I'm thorough like that. So if I'm going to give my child those type of things that's going to go against them, I want to make sure it's going to be foolproof. I had an ex who lost 4 of his aunts to cancer. Cancer ran so deep into his family that his mother had a double mastectomy. If I really needed to be with that man, I needed to understand that this is a situation where my child might end up with cancer because this is the genes that's in his family. So if I'm not 100% sure that I want to be with this man, that I want to be committed with this man, and I'm ready to handle everything that comes along with this, I should not be trying to think about having no child with him because it's going to come up behind it. See, as a child that has been neglected, as a child that had an addict as a parent, why would I want to give my child the life that I had? Why would I want to give my child pain? I don't want to pass my pain down because pain is another hereditary thing that people love to pass down, like it's
Question,
a
please.
gene or something.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? A real question? Because this is a real story. I think I mentioned it in one of our beginning when I first started this beloved YouTube channel of mine, Conversation with King, one of the best channel in YouTube. And I told you I had one of my first loves in college. Kimberly Natasha Paul was my first love, like one of my best loves in college. Not my first, but my best loves in college. Dated her for 5 years, probably the longest relationship I had. Um, I did not pursue anything with her because my mother told me, and I don't think she knows this, but my mother told me, um, you know, and my mother was doing it for the best interest of her son. She had rheumatoid arthritis. Shout out to Big Bad Bull because you official. You a bully with that. I like that. Thank you. Appreciate that. But she basically said to me, because rheumatoid arthritis, if you don't want to spend the rest of your life taking care of her because it's a progressive disease. Now, Kimberly Tasha Paul, she's married now to a man and she's happy. So it has nothing, she's living a great life. But my mother said, if you don't want to marry someone and have to take care of them like that, then you need to reconsider. What I was, and she said it'd be different if you marry someone, then they get sick, then you gotta take care of them. But if you know that beforehand, why would you put yourself through that? As my son, I want you to enjoy your life. And that's what I think every mother would say, right? I think, right? So my question is, we don't know for sure, but I did hear, Chef, I hear what you're saying, but I do know people who have mental illnesses, and usually someone in their family has it, but you say it's not genetic. So can you elaborate on that? Because I do know many of people that have, oh, my aunt had multiple personality disorder, or my other person had this. So is it genetics or not? A lot of people are coming up, but we don't have 100 likes. So we're gonna wait till we get 100 likes to bring them up. So figure it out, because a lot of people in the lobby, they out the club, they want to come into the club. We don't got 100 likes. Let's figure this out. Thank you. Sorry for that.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. So when you speak about mental illness, when they speak that it is not genetic, they state that it's not genetic. However, there are genetic underpinnings or leanings or propensities that certain people will have that will be passed down. It is not the actual genetics of that mental infarction. Perfect example. You may have the genetics of diabetes within your family.
Right.
It ain't turned on until that person who's in your lineage is impacted by specific external and internal factors. So, is diabetes genetic within the family? No. The trait for diabetes is there within the family. Does every single person in the line get diabetes? No. The ones that overeat, overindulge, take in a certain amount of sugar can turn it on. Just like when they talk about the fat gene. Does it guarantee everybody in the family is going to be like the what's that? The clumps?
Right.
No.
But she said that.
But what?
She said increases your chances. She said that.
The point is, though, increasing your chances and saying that it's immediately genetically passable are two different things.
Okay.
It's two different things. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
If I got two parents that used to steal, doesn't mean I'm a steal. No. But if I see somebody that look like they finna take my shit, just by virtue of my development, not just genetics, I'm gonna be able to see what it is. Doesn't mean that. There's some people that say alcoholism is genetic as well. That's one of those things as well.
Right.
Think about everybody that you know whose parents are alcoholic and addicted to drugs.
Right.
You know what I notice about those people? Those be the ones that don't touch a lick of alcohol, don't smoke one cigarette, look at a joint, do any of those things. So when we talk about genetics and when we start to talk science, I'm not going to be the chef that y'all know if I allow opinion and science to be interspersed within the same drink. I can't let you drink that shit. I won't drink it, so I won't serve it to you. So all I'm stating is that if we're going to utilize science, then let's utilize science with all its important regard and reverence. And let's not allow it to be sullied by anecdotal, personal,
That's not anecdotal.
anomaly-based experience.
That's not anecdotal. Anecdotal is a situation where we just gonna automatically feel like everybody that's having kids recklessly is not having kids recklessly. They're all intentional, and then something is just bad happening. When we know that there may be a man who has 6, 7 people pregnant at one time. That's anecdotal.
No, anecdotal means not necessarily. Anecdotal means not necessarily true or reliable because it's based on personal accounts.
So it's not, you don't think it's reliable to say that?
Okay.
One at a time. One at a time, please.
So I want to finish. Anecdotal is defined by not Chef's personal heart, a dictionary. It is defined as not necessarily true or reliable because it's based on personal accounts rather than facts or research. So if you're going to use a word now, we got to make sure that we.
But how would it be anecdotal?
In the right word? Maybe
one at a time.
I never did it. It's not
Cheryl, your turn. Cheryl, your turn. Sorry.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying, because that wasn't the point I was making. The point is, a lot of things that we have is when you go to the hospital. If anybody goes to the hospital and they talk to their doctor, they ask you what your family history, what runs in your family, because they know that a lot of things that go on with us is directly linked. I'm one of those kids who come from a family. Like I've always said, even though people feel like, oh, I'm young and this, understand, I have beat every generational curse that plagued my family. Teenage pregnancy, I beat that. Poverty, I beat that. And addiction, I beat that. Those are the things that plague my family. So this is my thing. When I see people are getting addicted to hard drugs, I can tell that I may have an addictive gene, because I see that it's easy for people that's kin to me to get addicted. So just like it is with children, and I didn't want to have children, I decided to not have sex. That's the best way for me to prevent having children. So because I felt like I would be the one, because I have this addictive gene, so I never did drugs. I never smoked a cigarette. I never smoked weed. I never did nothing, because I didn't want to be the one to fall into it. Because I didn't want to be the one, because why even play with the fire expecting me not to get burned? I never felt like I was lucky like that.
Some would say it's not a gene. Some would say you've seen it so much. Some would say you've seen it so much, and the rest of the family might have seen it so much that they get used to it. It doesn't have to be a gene. What if you've just seen it so much? Maybe nature versus nurture. Nature is genetics.
It,
Nurture is what you see all the time. So
Right.
maybe the fact that you saw it made you stronger that you wasn't gonna do it. Maybe
Right.
the
but
fact that
there's a
you
million
saw it,
people that
because
saw it and
remember,
they
you
still
said
fall
you
for
got
it.
two siblings. You said you got two siblings that got 10 kids apiece. Your own words. So what I'm stating is maybe it's not that we can't blame it on mama and grandpa, Sherelle's mama and grandpa, because guess what? Maybe it's not Sherelle's mama and grandpa. You get what I'm saying? And you yourself are showing that you're not the same person as the previous, which means it's not genetic. You just had the presence of mind to be able to say, I'm not going to do it. Because remember, you came from, mama was the 12, you stated mama was the 12th mother of daddy's 14. Mom had three others, but there was 17 in total. You mama's last, you daddy's last. I remember all of it, every single bit. Mama was number 12. All I'm saying to you is it a gene or is it not? Maybe you are just wise and you were able, being the last one. You know, they got middle kid issues. There's the last kid privilege too, because you get to see all of the previous mistakes that were made. You were able to see all of the things that happened. So you get to watch the movie while the other people are sitting there acting in the movie.
Right. So hold on. Let's pause right there because Darrell has to go before he leaves. He says, I want to say brief this before Darrell goes and get it to 100 because it's ridiculous. We've been here for 2 hours. We didn't get 100 yet. And let's keep it doing a lot of work. I don't like that. I don't like that. Please. Natalie says Cheryl was speaking of family pathology, which can be connected to illnesses. Let me get that through. And remember, everybody that's rocking with me, I'm not like the lady attorney. You don't have to pay me for me to post up some of your stuff up there. If it's fire, it's fire. That's it. Darrell, go. Thank you.
What's good, everybody? How y'all doing
What's up,
tonight?
D? This our first time being on the panel together.
What's good? What's good, bro?
Yeah, appreciate you being here,
Hold on. Let me
Sherelle.
get you next to her. There you go.
Yeah, Sherelle got me. I got
Terrell.
nothing but love for her. This topic is very much something that I can speak on. Being a man who has four children, three different women. As I spoke on before, my youngest daughter, her mother has schizophrenia. I want to start there. When I met Christiana, nobody from her doctors, her mother, nobody said she had schizophrenia. As a matter of fact, they actually said she got schizophrenia through her pregnancy. And after I began to do more research on it, a lot of women from the point of pregnancy to the point of postpartum depression, when they're going through that, a lot of women actually suffer from a lot of different mental illnesses. It may be depression, schizophrenia, whatever it was. So
Wow.
for me, I just think that the first thing that we got to talk about is somebody might not be what they was today, yesterday. Uh, Somebody might be saying yesterday, and then the next day they have a mental illness that you unaware of. I'm not a doctor, so I didn't know how to handle it. The only thing I knew how to do was take care of my kids, and that's another thing I want to speak on is this topic of multiple baby mothers and children as a form of abuse. I think the conversation for me, it need to be more centered around what are your real intentions, because for my, like, it's like I tell everybody since I've been on this show, King,
Mm-hmm.
I take care of all my children and their mothers. I've always said that, right?
Yep.
I've always took care of them
Day
and
one.
their mothers.
From day one.
You get what I'm saying? So for me, I never saw it as any abuse, and my kids don't feel like they being abused because they talk to me every day, right? I
Right.
was telling the flower that I talked to, I talk to my mom, my dad, my kids every day. We have an extremely close unit every single day, and they come up here and they spend time with they baby sister and myself. So to me, I think the real form of neglect is something that I've been talking about over and over and over. Is a lot of women, they don't have these children thinking that they about to be single mothers, and a lot of them become single mothers because the men are not really holding themselves accountable for what they should be doing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to take care of the mothers and the daughters and my sons. I could have just took care of my kids. I took care of them too, because I understood if I don't take care of her, my kids might be in a situation where they might be neglected. This is why I talk about paying all the rent for the year, right? And I know in some places, cause I said that before. Well, some places you can't pay rent all year. I don't know how it works where everywhere else, but where I'm at, I can pay my whole rent for the whole year. I can pay my kids' mother's rent for the whole year. That way, they can get all the time that they need with us. So I just think a lot of situations come with men, they want to be with the baby mamas, and I'm pretty sure Sherelle and Bliss me probably know somebody like this, a mother who wanted the father to be there, but the father he wanted sex, he wanted a lot of other different stuff that she wasn't willing to provide. So these dudes get in situations where they can't take care of the kid, and that's why I'm not trying to take no shots at nobody because this is a serious topic. When I be making jokes about women having children with men, married or not, and then these people got to come to you and ask for money, to me, that is also a form of neglect. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm being honest because I hear this all the time. Well, if I'm married and you're unmarried, I'm better. If I'm religious, no. How many people? And this is some real shit because I was googling this before the whole time y'all was talking. How many children has grew up in a married household, and then when the parents get divorced, it causes mental illnesses? How many children has grew up in households where the parents don't really love each other? They see more than what the married couple is going to show us on the internet. They see what's really going on behind closed doors. They see the ramifications of their mother having to take care of a man, right? These things have crazy effects in our community. So to me, it always come back down to the men, bro. The men, we gotta take care of our family, take care of our society, no, by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? And this is the last thing I want to address because one of the people in the comments, I think her name was Mika or something like that.
Yes.
She was saying something. I don't want to paraphrase for her, but Mika, I've been completely consistent, right? My kids and all their mothers are taken care of by me financially, period. That means when they call me, oh, your son needs some cough syrup, I got you. Oh, you need a PlayStation 5, whatever it is, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? The biggest thing a person can do, no matter if the other person has schizophrenia or whatever, is to lack on your responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? Don't lack on your responsibilities when it comes to the kids. That's how I look at it. And when you don't, the kid's not gonna be abused, bro. Like, it's just, to me, I think that this conversation, a lot that I've listened to it, it's about men controlling their penis. And that's, I mean, you can control it's a lot of dudes, bro, who got penis control, but they not real men still. Like, I just don't understand this conversation sometimes and the narrative around men wearing condoms and all that stuff, when the conversation needs to be about, can men really hold themselves down? Because if me and Sherelle is dating and I gotta ask Sherelle, hey baby, I know you driving trucks all goddamn day. You need food and everything else, but I also need food too. I need you to take care of me. Why is she with me? And to me, it's a lot of black men out here like that. And I just felt like that's crazy. That's crazier than anything else we talked about.
Right.
That's just how I feel.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
No
it.
problem.
And that's a
Can I
real
say
life.
something to Darrell?
Yes, but what we say he put his personal business out there. You know what I mean? He's actually dealing with that. So that's a real life thing. So
Right.
go ahead, bless me.
Okay, two things. I
And
don't
then
to Chef.
We want Kate and Michael to go afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna drop down
And
after. Okay,
thank
really quick.
Michael for smoking Ripple. We appreciate you for smoking Ripple.
Okay, I'm gonna drop down after this. So two things. So, Chef, I didn't quite understand what your issue was with what Sherelle is saying because it's true. Mental illnesses are passed down. Sometimes they skip generations. Um, Something as small as personality traits are passed down. So why wouldn't you think mental illnesses can be passed down? They absolutely can. Um, and to Darrell, I just wanted to say I commend you for taking care of your children's moms. But sometimes we could think we're doing something right and still be doing it wrong, right? So your thing is that financially you hold it down, and you take care of everyone, and that's great. But finances are not the end all be all. Your presence in the home, day to day, the child having access to you is what is most important in the child's life. So I think it's still, because you say you don't understand the conversations about wearing condoms and this and that, but even if we don't think we're doing damage, we're doing damage. Like I had an aunt, she made a lot of money and she worked all the time. So she gave my cousins whatever they wanted financially, right? And to this day, they're like the most codependent. They don't know how to do things for themselves. Um, and one of them is in jail right now, like screwed up because she threw money at everything, thinking that that was actually raising kids. And I'm not saying that's you, but I'm just trying to make a point that um, just because you financially take care of someone, that doesn't mean that that's the best thing to do either. And so that's
No,
all I wanted
I
to say.
definitely, I appreciate you, Bliss Me, and I definitely agree. That's why I had to make sure I say in there that I talk to them every single day, and they come up here and visit me weekly. Um, that's just something that we do. Even though I agree about not being there 24/7, that's been something that I've been dealing with for years now. So I've grown accustomed to that, to be perfectly honest. This is why I made it such a point to take care of my last daughter, to make sure that like I have her 24/7. But it's not just financial with me. All my kids, we have a lot of different things, um, a lot of different ways that we communicate with, like with each other. For example, me and my sons, we do different physical activities together. We basketball, working out together, push-ups together. And I try to prepare them for college whenever they're around here. Talking to them about pledging different sororities. For example, I've been trying to teach my daughters to love pink and green so they can grow up to be AKAs and want to go to school and stuff like that. So for me, I have a real tight knit family as well. So like my mom would bring them up here, my sisters would bring them up here, and this is, like I said, this happened every week. Um, that's, but to answer your, to go back to what Bliss Me was saying, she's 100% right though. When you're not in the house, when I wasn't in the house, Bliss Me, I did feel that way. I absolutely felt like my son was being let down by not having me there all the time. But that's why I wanted to come up here and talk about it, because that had, in my opinion, a lot of men and women situation doesn't have nothing to do with lack of deep discipline. People just really quit on each other, and then they get in their feelings. So for me, with me, I held my big mama to a certain standard, right? Her mother was an AKA that graduated college at 19 years old. I became an alpha, and I went to school at 23 years old. You know what I'm saying? So we had different stories, but we both wanted to, me and her mama, we both understood you got to go get educated, and then you got to be successful, apply what you learn in college, right? She didn't want to do that. She was very very stagnant, very spoiled, and I wasn't feeling that, because it's just laziness. It's not sexy to me. So that was something that I had to walk away from, and I admit that I purposely walked away from her. Hey, if you can't, if you're not focused on making yourself better, and the only thing you're gonna do is be a trust fund baby, I don't come from that kind of money, so I'm not interested in being that kind of person. But after that happens, a lot of the parents have a toxic co-parenting relationship, and that was something that I wasn't willing to have. That was like the last stone for me to stand on, as far as my children having somewhat of any kind of healthy relationship. You get what I'm saying? And I just, the reason why I brought up, the reason why I said I didn't understand the conversation is because when we bring up stuff like marriage, right? When people talk about marriage, most marriages, and I say most, over 50% of the ones that start, they end in divorce. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe that anybody can say, well, a God given marriage is something that's going to help a kid out. I think a strong bond between both parents, no matter the title, is going to help them out. And in my case, if you have a situation like mine where you can't be there every single day, I do think that you need to make sure that you can be, like, your presence is felt as often as possible. But Bliss Me, let me say this. And Chef spoke to this when we had that conversation about money a few weeks ago.
Right.
The dudes who don't buy their time back, like Chef said, they got to be out there spending time just to make the money take care of their family. So off GP, they gonna not be around their family. That's why for me it was real. I was I was at the point where it's like, all right, if I can't be around them every day, I'm gonna buy my time back. That way, if I want them to come up here for a month 2 months, whatever, they can do it without me having to go out and go make more money and spend time doing it. That's why I always preach the money stuff, because if you don't have resources, you can't do nothing for your kids. You can be in a face all day long, but if you don't have no resources and I gotta rely on their mama to feed me, then I think that me being in a face under that circumstance is going to be a detriment. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? That's how I feel.
Right. So
Let me jump in there because I just want to jump in there because Bliss Me had mentioned there was some confusion where Bliss Me, you were saying that you didn't get what I was saying, right? Or how I was differing from what Sherelle was saying. Okay. So let's talk about it. We talk about different people and we also talk about mental illness.
yes,
We're speaking about mental illness and we're utilizing science in order to show some level of different deference to those people and respect for what they're going through. We also have to be respectful, because if we actually continue with that line stating that someone that has mental illness is going to pass that mental illness down, it is
I
totally
never said exactly. I
no. I
said
didn't
there's a
say
chance
what I'm
that
and,
my
and
child could end up with the same illness as their father.
right,
That's what I said.
so specifically, there's three different things that exist. There's genes, traits, and things called alleles, right? Genes determine the structure and the function of proteins, and the proteins result in traits, right? The traits are controlled by genes and or environmental factors. So what does that mean? What that means is you can be a match, Sherelle, you can be a match, and everybody in your lineage has that match trait. You know, like the match, make fire, and have that trait. Some of the people within your lineage met gunpowder and became explosive. Gunpowder is the environmental factor that drifted in and created that combustion. It was not a disease until met with specific external factors. So I wasn't going against Sherelle. What I was doing was creating a scientific and more specific context so we understand. Because guess what? Believe it or not, with the amount of people that watch this thing here, you think if you go and Google the percentage of people that suffer from schizophrenia, if this network has over 1,040 something people subscribe to it, then we have schizophrenics within our garden. We have schizophrenics within our garden. So what I'm saying is that I parse my words and y'all rewind it. That's why maybe in the moment my shit don't be good. But when you rewind it, it has replay value. Why? Because then you actually go through the rewind and be like, damn, okay, that's what he said. I was being specific to the science. I was being specific to the science. And that's all that it was. I was not disagreeing with her. I was adding specificity with which to what she was saying, so that we don't go down a different line and making assumptions. So the diseases are not genetically passable. Only the initial traits can be passable. But in order for them to transition into the actual disease, they need to be met with a host of specific factors. That's why in the movies, this person ain't get their superpowers until they got their ass kicked a bunch of times. They had to unlock it. David Banner, Bruce Banner, ain't know he was the Hulk.
King, please let me rebuttal.
Okay,
Please.
and then you gotta go to K because they.
Okay, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go straight to them. I'm just saying this because I feel like a lot of times we start going into the nuance, and I never get to make my point.
Right.
Okay, my point was, okay, a lot of times, even if you have it in you to be schizophrenic, the most things, if anybody would know that causes it, because I was with one for 5 years, going through hospitals up and down. I went through this, which is why I have a real issue when people say, I'm crazy, and they're completely sane because every day you wake up, thank God for a strong mind, because there are people who have chemical imbalances in their brain who really don't have a strong mind, and we playing because we angry, and these people can't function. So my point is, if I had a child who had this, that could be triggered, one thing that could be triggered by it, a traumatic experience with their father who
Yeah.
has manic attacks, who sometimes blacks out, does things that he can't remember. Why
Right.
would I put my child in a direct line of fire from that? But my whole entire point is just being intentional, having foresight on every decision you make, especially when it comes to kids. Because when you're not intentional and you're not thinking ahead, you're gambling. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you can go to the casino and you can hit. But what I'm telling you is, it's a bigger risk, because when you gamble in the birth thing, you're gambling with your child's future.
I never went against anything you
The
said.
future, which you know what I'm saying, the future
All I
which
did
they
was
hold.
corrected your science. I didn't go against anything you said. And
I
these
never said you
words
went
that I
against it. I
said
was just saying
before,
the nuance.
I was just responding to Bliss Me. If you go back and you'll see, I didn't even tell you I disagree with you. I didn't even tell you I agree with you. All I did was spoke to the science that was being brought about. So when you rewind, you'll see. And this last thing I said, that was just related to what Bliss Me was saying. Bliss Me, I didn't disagree with her. What I did was correct the scientific verbiage that was being espoused on the platform.
Right.
That's all. And that's why I mentioned Twitter and Facebook, where they put the sticker to make sure you got the facts.
Right. So
like I put definitions into the chat.
Right. We because of press for time, because you still got to do your show at 11. If I want to get Kay and them to go and Michael to go, but also I could see where Cheryl came from, Chef, because you did that, but she said, I remember it closer. We could go back to. She says you had a higher risk, and what you did was elaborate on it. But by elaborating, it's like when you elaborate on the verbiage, it's like kind of like, okay, she said that though.
He implied that she was wrong. He
I didn't say that. He didn't imply that. He didn't imply that. He didn't.
I don't imply when I speak. I never implied.
He didn't imply that.
I've never implied on this show.
Hold on. I'm gonna be honest. He didn't imply that. But what happens is she said it. She said exactly what he said. But if you just come into this thing, it looked like you went against it. But I know you didn't. But it looked like it. I know.
But remember, we in the garden, right? So what we do is we elevate perceptions and we create paradigms.
But I'm putting out there. I said you didn't, but she did say before you went to what you went. She said a higher risk. But let's go to Kay and Michael.
Peace, everybody. Peace.
Peace.
I lead with peace because I know I came in the war.
Peace, bro.
And the war is the war that I'm speaking of is just the differences of.
Thank you for being patient. Thank you so much.
Oh no. Oh, that's another thing. Thank you for even telling me. Thank you. You're welcome. But I also want to thank you
brother.
as well.
Energy, brother. I love that. Keep that energy, man. You must be rich. Hit me in my DM, man. You sound like you got money.
Hit me too if you got money. Hit me too.
When you got patience, you got money. I like that. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah, and I also want to thank you, and I'm grateful to be on the platform. And what makes me grateful and thankful to be on the platform, to be able to even speak my opinion from my point of view.
Yes. Where you actually from?
I'm from Baltimore, or Baltimore with a D.
Okay.
That's how we say it up here. So Baltimore.
When I say rich, because you have so much gratitude. That's why I mean rich. You know what I mean? Money is gratitude. Money is gratitude. All right.
And the meaning of the reason why I'm grateful is because you allow people to speak with clarity, and when they're speaking, you give people a chance to dish out their whole perception on a particular matter. So I like what I'm seeing here on this show, due to the fact that you don't have a lot of people speaking over top of each other, and you speak with clarity to express your points and views. So I just want to say thank you on that one first. Okay. All right, but secondly,
to the garden, my guy.
All right, thank you guys.
Peace to the garden.
Welcome.
But secondly, and everything that I've been hearing since I clicked onto the link, to hop in. I noticed a lot of the terms that we was using were linked to financial positions, like the word accountable, the word responsible, um, children, uh, just even science leads itself to finances. A lot of what we spoke today, or what was spoken this evening, was leading to finances, is leading to money.
Right.
And I'm not sure if everybody is clear, but I would like to ask a question,
Yes.
because a lot of these words that were used also were tied in with criminal acts. So there was some times that was
I'm on
spoken.
probation, so that's not me.
Well, considering you are a person in law, if you on probation,
Right.
then do we know what criminal actually leads itself to?
Right. Yeah.
Is everybody familiar with what criminal leads itself to?
Yeah. I just came from there.
Okay, so what is the basis of criminality? Anybody familiar with the basis, the legal basis of it?
Can you elaborate?
Okay, legal criminalization. I mean, the legal basis of criminality is based on commerce. Commerce is based in finance. Finance is based in money.
Right.
So when we go to prison, or we do probation, you do parole, a lot of these things have to do with finances. That's why they say you pay your debt to society.
Right.
So when we looking at a lot of these words, we're looking at obligation. And when you're looking at obligation, you're looking at debt. So when we're looking at debt, this is why we're looking towards money, because we are assuming a role that was created within legislative defining of words.
Right.
So we all have our own definitions for specific words, but we also don't know where these words are actually stemming from. Like, what are the source of these words? Like the word mental issue. That's like that's like two pennies vanishing, basically. It's like a double negative. When somebody says that you're right about a particular subject, a lot of these terms that we use are used in the form of movement of any particular goalpost, and it can be done because we all have differences of opinion. But I thank Chef for being specific in his manner of trying to understand that there's a sense of compartmentalization that needs to go on. I mean, or that needs to be made aware to. So when we express certain,
I think you found another Jedi. Come on, talk to it.
So when we express certain opinions or views, we actually cross different compartments with one another. So we'll mix science with finance, and when we mix in the two, we kind of lose the specificity, and it leads to chance, which is what Sherelle was trying to avoid. She's trying to avoid chance. But when you use certain terms, it leads you right into chance, and you can't be specific about what it is that you're actually intending to create, build, or do. So when we speak in the form of the word children, that word does not exist from male to female, because anything after male and female, if they create any form of existence of life outside themselves, that's going to lead to a son or a daughter. When you speak in legal terms, do you ever notice they don't necessarily use those terms, son or daughter?
I'm pretty sure.
Anybody aware of that?
I'm pretty sure it's because in the legal system you're supposed to be blind. So
can you say that one more time, Mr. E. Black?
I think in the legal system you're supposed to be blind of gender.
Possibly, but to be blind to gender is to leave things to chance, correct? It's no specificity there. So when you go to get justice, how do you get it if you can't be specific on what it is that you're coming in to get justice about? You want
Look,
to
man, I
win all
follow you.
cases, correct?
I'd hope so.
All right. So let's go into it, right? Just to try to keep it simple. Mental. Has anybody ever looked up that word, the word mental? The definition of mental. Did anybody know the definition of mental? We got a couple of people that was up here Googling words. So can we get
Hey,
somebody to Google
Mike,
the word mental?
you and Mike will y'all Baltimore cats, y'all do the same thing. Y'all ask the question and y'all know the answer. Y'all
Related
Well,
to
Black, you
the mind,
correct.
related to the mind, taking place or being carried out within the mind.
All right, now
Or related
what?
to disorders of the mind.
All right, now I learned something probably a couple of years ago. There's a lot of people familiar that 99% of the people on let's just say America, 99% of the people in America read at a second grade level. Are y'all familiar with that?
No,
I
what?
haven't looked up the
Bring
exact
it, bring it.
statistic.
Are y'all
Let it
familiar
rip.
with
Let it rip.
99% of us as
There you go. Let it rip.
Americans, white, black, or indifferent, any race you can put it to the test, that we all read at a second grade level?
I didn't know that.
All right.
That
Now,
explains, that explains why me and E Black read like this with our fingers.
Yeah.
I
all
I think
right.
I
So
need
that
when I was in
glasses. I
second
need
grade, I took a
glasses.
reading
I need
literacy
reading
test.
glasses.
When I was in second grade, I took a literacy test and I was reading on a high school level in second grade.
okay.
So during literacy time, they would put us in different classes in reading. And even though I was in the second grade, I was in the 8th grade class having to do literacy with them
All
because
right.
that was the highest that my elementary school went to.
All right. Cool. So now let's say you got people that graduated from college, right? I'm not sure if you're a person that graduated from college.
I did.
All right. So if you graduated from college, the people that graduating from college, even with a master's degree, are reading at a second grade level. So if you just look up any word, just like today, mental, the way he looked up the word, I can prove to you that we read that at a second grade level just now. All right. And here's the reason why. Let me use this on you, Chef. If I may make an example just to show you how we read at a second grade level. When you read the definition, did you notice you skipped the grammar of that, the technical aspect of its use of that word, Chef?
You can't hear you. You're on mute. You're on mute, homie.
Okay, I'm not
I
sure if
didn't.
you guys can hear me.
I didn't define verb, adjective, pronoun.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Right.
sir. Thank you.
Right. That was the one that I had chosen to use pretty much in terms of as an adjective. But yeah.
All right,
Right.
which is fine. Thank you. So basically, when we read definitions, we skip past the actual technical function or the use of that word. Almost everybody does. I did this on a person that I work with that has a master's degree and she's a English major. And this is a 60-something-year-old woman. So
I don't
yes,
because his show got to go on soon unless he gives us extra time.
Yes.
Or you give us extra time because we didn't have like.
All right. Well, I was just getting to the point quickly.
Let it flow.
Okay.
I'm good.
I was getting to the point quickly.
Thank you.
He just explained that the terminology for that, or the grammatic expression of that word, is to be used in the form of an adjective. The definition of an adjective is a word used to describe a noun. A noun is a person, place, or thing. So when we use adjective, almost every ounce of it is going to be left up to chance. It's not going to be left up to specificity. So when you use the word gene, if you ever look it up, it's an adjective. There's no specific aspect of it that you can actually bring into form as a specific thing or place or person. So when you can't do those things, this is what messes up our intention to build, because of the words and the terminologies that we're using. But the people who craft these laws around you, they are aware of that and they're using that against you. And this is why I come in peace, because the war is actually in the words. So when Chef would speak to the science of things, of course there would be some type of contention behind it because it seems as though he's disagreeing, but he's only trying to bring light to the compartment of science being used in the context of the conversation. And so that we can understand specifically, as so Miss Sherelle was saying, she was saying that the things that she saw led her to make some of the decisions that she makes so that she won't be in the spaces that these other people are in. All right. Now, the spaces that these other people are in, guess what? It's associated with money, addiction. They make money off of it. Addiction is it, you can't even it goes into so many different spaces. So the point that I'm making in all of these is if we see the words that we're using when we go to express ourselves on a lot of things, we can actually see things from a different perspective. And it's a possibility you can see things a lot more clearer. And when you do make a decision intentionally, you can make a decision and be proud of it because, like Sherelle said, she doesn't want. And I'm just using your words as an example. So get on me if you need to, Miss Sherelle. I'm fine with it. But she says she doesn't want her child to go through what she went through. And all I'm saying to that point is how many people on this panel at this moment is proud of who they are and who they became today?
After talking to you, man, I realized I'm stupid because that I didn't. Damn, son, I'm really must be favored because after talking to you, I'm really not that smart. God was looking out for me for the whole time because you're right. When we look at definitions of words, we overlook things. You feel me?
Yes.
And so I get it. But I want to ask you a question. How can we relate that back to the topic at hand? Multiple baby mamas and children, and then we got to make Michael go. Is that a form of child abuse to you?
Okay. Child abuse. What is the definition for the word abuse? Before you even speak into it, you have to define the word. So when you define that word can be explained or expressed, you're going to see that first off, it's an adjective. So that means it's depending on one's own definition of the word. Everybody has a different definition of the word abuse. And that's what you guys were expressing today. And if we could understand that, then we can be like, oh, wow, we all have different perspectives and we can respect each other's perspective, but we want to bring it in home. We want to bring it in close and try to specify what is going on. And we don't know how to do that because we're not realizing that the words that we're using it's like cross-hatching all these different compartments. Like we're crossing into different compartments of our minds and the terms that's being used. Like he brought it up really well. Science. When we speaking about certain things, we speaking in science, but they both brought up it's possibility that the genetic compound of a person getting diabetes is not possible, depending on the fact of a person not eating the same type of foods that the person who came before them did. And Sherelle proved that to be true because she said certain things that she didn't, certain things that she did it out of outcome, not trying to be like what she saw. So when you speak into child abuse, you have to speak to one, your own definition, and two, the actual definition for or definitive aspect that you could use to best express your point and possibly, take that on a mass level. But why take it on a mass level when you should understand that on a mass level, it's going to lend you to so many different opinions and it's going to lend you to so many different contentions. You're going to have all kinds of contention when you use this word because and I'm glad that you guys are breaking it down. Yes, ma'am.
I'm saying this. I've seen people play Russian roulette. I've seen people get their heads blown off. There's only one bullet in the gun, but eventually somebody gets it. But the gun is a 6-shooter, only got six rounds in it. But so oftentimes you're gonna see somebody get shot because that one bullet's gonna come up in that 6-round gun a lot. What I'm saying I had to do is I had to not play Russian roulette to win the game. That's the only way I got to win. I had to not have sex to not have a child. I had to not smoke cigarettes to not get addicted to drugs. I had to not do it at all. So what I'm saying is if I did decide to play Russian roulette, the chances of me blowing my head off would have been very, very slim. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
no,
eventually would
Yes,
have
ma'am.
blew my head off. You see what I'm saying?
That was a perfect analogy.
So can I ask a question on that?
So yeah, hold on, 1 second. That's a perfect analogy. They say the only way to prevent you from being a single parent is not to have a child, because you could get married and still become a single parent, right? So I get it. It's all about probability. She's not talking about possibility. It's all about probability. So I totally get what Cheryl was saying. Kay, one last word, and we got to go to Michael.
Okay, so when you said that the Russian roulette statement, right? Were you taking into consideration that just because you're not addicted to what we call drugs, right? Because I used to hustle. Because you're not addicted to drugs, are you ultimately saying that you're not addicted to anything else?
Yeah, I'm saying I don't have any addictions. I built myself up to not have an addictive personality. I
Okay.
can't do anything for too long, which is why I don't do relationships. My relationships won't last long because everything I feel like should only be for a moment of time. I don't believe in the concept of forever. Everything dies, everything changes, time moves forward. So I'm not a person that believes in this whole concept of anything is going to last forever. I
But we
can't
think
eat
it's
the same
forever.
food. I just can't do any. I just don't get addicted to, after a certain while. I'm just off it. I'm just off. I'm just off it. I just am.
Okay.
I'm a truck driver, but I have drivers, and eventually I'm gonna go off the road and put somebody in this truck and let them work, and I'm gonna go home and do what I want because it's not like I'm gonna be able to do it every single day. That's why I need to wake up in a different city every single day. And I'm not saying nobody else is
Yo,
like
you know
this,
what's
but
funny?
I'm saying this is how I train
You know
myself
what's
to
funny?
be.
You know what's
All
funny?
right. So question.
Hold on. You know what's funny? Dante, that's ill. I actually went to Israel years ago, and I was on a watch looking out through my hotel, and I saw a man. It appeared to him he was walking on water, and I'm like, it's a boat next to him. But then as you went, it was land literally right there. That's crazy. So I just caught like a little flashback, and I'm thinking it was like, so even with Jesus, when you have to have faith to walk on water, right? You got to know what you're dealing with. You got to know your surroundings before you step out. He knew exactly what he was doing, so he knew where to step out so he wouldn't drown. And
Uh-oh.
what Cheryl's saying,
Uh-oh.
is like she knew the variables attached to her life. And she knew where to step over, when to step in. She's a real big stepper. Shout out to Cheryl.
Sound good, right? Sound good. Now let me ask this
Thank you,
question.
King. Thank you for the flowers.
Anybody has anybody have any family members or themselves that ever been in the game? We talking about the streets now, street pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
All right. So if anybody knows that, how do they set, what's their business model when it comes to taking something and packaging it? Aren't they basing it off of weight when they package up a so-called drug, pharmaceutical?
It all depends.
Oh, come on now. Come
No,
on
I'm gonna
now.
tell you.
You
I'm gonna
can't
tell you.
come up with the
I'm gonna
term
tell you.
kilo. You
No.
you can't come up with the term kilo without weight.
Yeah, you do, but it's all
Kilogram.
different because some people are precise with it. Some people
Come on
sell.
now.
Some people cut their things real small and sell them small. Some people go too big.
Let me keep it real with you, so I can see where you stand at, Kay. And then we're gonna change the conversation because I'm on probation. I don't deal with this stuff.
I also want to let you know
Exactly.
I'm a teacher. I'm a
No,
teacher
no.
too.
You could say
So
a kilo's 1,000 grams, right? But everybody knows if you've been outside. When somebody says a kilo, you know how many grams really is.
however, everybody didn't make it to the level you talking about of
Okay,
understanding.
all
And so
right.
that's why I had to express that earlier that
It's short a little bit. So when you say a kilo in the streets, it's never 1,000.
okay, but when they reference you in the form of criminality, they are trying to house you under the idea of 1,000 grams.
Absolutely,
Correct. All
absolutely.
right. Now, wow. From there, boom. Do you know myself? I was addicted to food. Has anybody ever looked at the packaging on the food? And I'm pretty sure Chef might know something about this because if he's a chef to any capacity, unless that's just a colloquial usage of the term chef, you know, you gotta use weight and measures in order to prepare, in order to even package and sell anything on the market. So how I found out I was addicted to food, my favorite foods is what they call junk foods. Oreo cookies, Doritos, and all these things. When you look at the package, it tells you the serving size. And if anybody ever know anybody that's from that area, or from being in, or from that area or arena, the street pharmaceutical, 28 grams is equivalent to 1 ounce. So what does that mean? When we speak in absolute terms of we're not addicted to the certain things, because me myself, I was just like Sherelle. I ain't had my first child till I was 30, intentionally. But what I didn't know, that even though I wasn't doing smoking cigarettes like my mom, and doing cane like my families and friends and things like that, or whatever they was doing, e-pills or whatever. I hate saying this stuff online, so forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn. But the
Yeah.
point that I'm making is this: even though I didn't have those addictive qualities in my behavior, because that's how I looked at life, and I didn't want to be like what I saw, found out I was addicted to food and a variation of other things. So when we speak into these things, we more transparent, or be more investigative about the context we speaking in when it comes to us, because it seems like we only market themselves instead of marketing the whole of who we are.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. The phone's going in and out though. Your phone's going in and out. So
My
let's give it
apologies, but I was saying market, instead of marketing the best side of ourselves, I was just saying market the whole of ourselves. And all of this, the context of all of these things, when you're speaking about single parents, you gotta, nobody's speaking from a piece of joy, a place of joy. I was happy to be a single parent in a marriage, and I still don't have no grounds about it, even though I got divorced. I was happily divorced. I'm happy on a lot of different things. I'm not no less proud of anything I went through, because I am what I am today because of what I went through. I want my children to go through whatever they got to go through to get the way I go. I am not trying to avoid them to say, oh, I don't want you to go through what I want to go through. If you don't go through what I went through, it's a possibility you won't be who I am. So I'll speak it from that point, and I'll stand down now. And I just want to say thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys for allowing me to share my opinion.
I respect that.
Thanks,
And everybody and everybody in the garden, y'all need to stop. This man waited mad long, so he had to get that off. Don't do that. All right. All right, come on, Michael. But I ain't gonna front. 100 Watts said, "What in the TI University is this?" That had me rolling. All right, go ahead, Michael.
Peace, panel. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mike.
Okay, awesome.
Please don't do
What
that.
up, Mike?
Oh yeah, no. I got
Stop.
my mental notes. I'm good because Chef's got to run his show. Peace to you all. King, man, I appreciate you going to Lapeef, man, because you bring you continue to bring a platform that I believe is conducive for solutions. Because I watch a lot of YouTubes, from the Kevin Samuels all the way to the people that are 40 subscribers and under and stuff like that, man. And it's funny to see how most of the people that are like under that, they usually have more tangibles or like solution based, and it's not like the same thing, kind of sort of saying the same solution, but you keep getting the same people calling in for the same thing, and you're kind of just like rebuttaling it, and it's real like no tangibles, and like, oh, okay, how do we actually fix this? Because we can throw stats out all day or whatever, right? So we'll get right to it, right? So I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So the multiple baby mothers and children being a form of abuse, right? So like I just said, going back to the solutions thing, I would add to the title, what is the solution for baby mothers being an epidemic? Or let me pull up this tab that I have, from census.gov, saying that 46.3% of our children are raised by mother alone, right? that are under 18. So, and we all know that, no matter what stat where you go from or whatever, we all know that, right? So the
Right.
thing is, for me, is what is the solution for it, right?
Let me tell you. Let me tell you what the solution is. Okay. First of all, having multiple homes is not just baseline neglect. It's not. It's all about what your intentions is. Um, I do know that the woman that you end up with long term, you have kids with the last marriage that you in, those kids will most likely benefit more. And those kids that were in the broken homes, they'll envy their brothers and sisters. Um, what I want to say is this: some men have 3, 4, 5, 6 baby mamas. They never married none of them. So even though we know marriage is not an exact thing, 9 times out of 10, most men, they wouldn't have even married the woman that had their child. 9 times out of 10, the woman wouldn't have married the man that they had a child for. So when we're saying have kids in marriage, it's because obviously people think marriage is a bigger commitment than children. Because more people get divorced than just give their kids away. That's something they feel
Right.
like they need to stick through. But if people decided to value marriage more and look at it from the correct way it's supposed to be, and really accept the commitment that they're supposed to have to themselves and to the life of their children, it's just that we need to be moving more intentional with that. So women, if a man, let him marry you. If he can love you, he can want to marry you. Let him marry you. What I say is, you need 4 things to raise a healthy child. Mental. You need to be mentally healthy, emotionally healthy. You need to be physically fit, which means, guess what? You don't want your child walking around with silvers because you let them drink juice. You don't want your child being obese. You want to be able to raise a healthy child. So you want to get in your bag with your dietary things to make sure that you can feed that child, right? The mind, and you should have financial literacy. Not financially stable, but financial literate. Now, you should be financially stable, but you should also be financially literate. Let me tell you the difference. Tomorrow, if I know nothing about money and I hit the lottery, I'm financially stable. If I'm financially literate, I'm going to always be able to make money because I know how money works. I understand money. I know how to use it. I know how to spend it. I know how to save it. I know how to invest it. Build a foundation before you put your children in, and also understand the life that you want for your kids, and never waver, never move. You said you moved intentional. You waited. King is a result of that. I'm a result of that. Bliss is a result of that. It's a lot of people who do move off intentions. You see what I'm saying? Because if I do something wrong, it's wrong. And I
Right.
made a mistake, but I can admit it. That's the only way I'm gonna learn from it.
Right.
But if I try to justify my wrongdoings, I'm never gonna learn from it. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? So listen, me, I would want those things to be emotionally healthy, financially, and I would want to homeschool my children. So if a man wouldn't be able to provide me a space to where I could homeschool my children, and I mean, I literally would want to constantly go to school so that I could upgrade grade levels, so I could be a pre-K. I would want to, first thing before I be a mother, because I didn't have a mother to nurture me, I would have to go to school for it. I would have to take the classes for it. I would have to read the books for it. I would have to be around other strong mothers so that they can put me in position to be able to raise my child right. I'm going to go do what I need to do to get the results, because whatever I need, whatever I want, whatever we really want, we work for it. You see what I'm saying? We don't bullshit about a lot of stuff
Yeah,
that we
Cheryl need
really
a
want.
page. Cheryl, you need a page. You really do need a page for real.
So that's what I want to do. I want to go to school for
But we
early
want to give
childhood
Michael a chance
education.
because Michael waited. We want to give his chance to speak.
Okay,
If you don't mind,
but
thank
go. That's all I'm saying is this: that
you, my
Save
love.
it for
be
the after
intentional.
show,
That's
Cheryl, because I
big.
know you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Come on, Michael. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
Cheryl
I'm
has
no,
a good
it's
sorry.
point.
I'm
cool,
sorry. I'm
man.
sorry.
Thank you for allowing her to speak, Michael.
Cause yeah. Most definitely, man. Cause I'll be popping in and out, man. So yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like somebody who said that in the chat. Aisha Smith said solution be 100% active in your children's lives. I think yeah, right. In children's lives, right? And like Daryl was talking about, man, for him, just in that particular case and whatever, he explained, he can't do that for what, one of his children. He has two, and then one that he is. and he sees the importance of being there 100%. So like myself, using myself as an example, I have 3 from a previous marriage. I'm married now. I have 1 on the way, and my 3 from my previous marriage are with me. And yeah, somebody was saying earlier to move. I think earlier in the show, because I've been listening, I've just been doing stuff. Earlier in the show, they said you would move to where your baby mother is, and I believe that like I was all over the place, but yeah, I believe that what he was saying, that yeah, we need to come from it from a more pronoia instead of a paranoia perspective. Pronoia is the opposite of paranoia, right? So a more positive, more optimistic outlook from it. But but because of the stats and because of what we've seen, it's always, or it seems, we always have that negative perception. So I know for me, in righting my wrongs, and I'm in therapy right now, and this is a question that I could ask my therapist. I don't think for me, me being away because she moved away. Let that be clear. And then that's another thing, context. And then everybody has their, different definitions of words, but I believe in context is huge as well. And then the contexts are sensitive because everybody's contexts aren't the same. Some people may have the same similarities, but it's not 100% the same. Because my wife now is going through something where she can't be 100% in her children's lives, but she calls, like Daryl said, she calls or whatever, right? So instead of, like I said, like seeing, because we know that it is a form of abuse. That's what the title is. So how do we combat that? You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. Because I know for me, like I said, I still keep open contact with the guy that my ex-wife is with now. And, somebody would call her a serial baby maker, even though she only has, me as a ex-husband, and then her boyfriend now is a baby father. But between that, she has 6, like I said, 6, 7 kids. So it goes in both sides, you know what I'm saying? And going back to context, then intentionality, right? So then what does being intentional look like? How do we start instilling that into, our children? And I know for me, how I'm doing that is that I'm showing them like, hey, look, I know your mom's not here. And I even talked to my therapist about this. And while I was getting them to bed, man, they asked me, they were like, hey, why did mom move away? And before I was in therapy, I would always tell them, just me trying to come from a positive state. I would always say, hey, me and your mom, or we have to do something in order to, make this happen, or we did something so she's not away or whatever. So my therapist would start saying, she said, hey, start saying I, and in that I, you can finish with I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if you don't know, just tell them that. And then over time, because I think, King, you said this earlier in the show, time's gonna tell. Time's gonna tell that, okay, over time, dad didn't speak bad about mom. He just said that he needed to do something. So then the accountability falls on me, like Chef said. If you the leader in your household, you know what I'm saying? The good and the bad rise and fall on you. I'm a firm believer in that, because I don't believe in anything else besides myself. you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, my ill intention of not vetting their mother, you know what I'm saying, led to them having to ask me these questions. So now what I'm going to instill into them so they don't become serial baby makers is that they see that I'm committed to someone that doesn't have anything to do with them, and that she sees us committing to them, and they know that we don't that one part of them doesn't have anything to do, but then we like merge the families for real, because now everybody got stepsisters and half brothers and all of that stuff, right? So now what we have to do is, especially for my wife's ex-husband side of the family, we have to show them a whole lot of grace, because he's very subjective. You know what I'm saying? And my objective is to love those children, even though I don't know them. You know what I'm saying? I try to play video games with them just to let them know, like, hey, like I'm here, even though I don't know you or whatever, but I'm trying to get to know you. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that's the solution. When I have all of them, you know what I'm saying? My thing is to instill into them, hey, no matter your context, no matter your nature, it's all about how you nurture it. If you want to nurture it, because going back to the mental health thing, like Daryl said, he didn't know that his one of his women had something until it happened. Mine was the same way. I'll give y'all a little bit of personal stuff, right? I remember one day, the day I found out that there was something wrong with them, with their mom, and it was probably laying dormant before that happened. Somebody called me and was like, "Hey, bro, did you know that their mom was like laid out in a hotel room for like 2 days, like in a different, like I think 2 hours away from the city?" And I was like, "No, I don't talk to her." At that time, I was very angry, very remorseful, very resentful. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, "Oh, okay." So then one trip kept turned into two, turned in. I'm trying to bring them to the children, and she's flipping out either before or after she sees them or whatever. So I've just like backed away and, like I said, used her baby daddy now as the contact point, because I want to be able to be the one to be like, hey, to open the door to be like, hey, here's your mom. She's ready now. You know what I'm saying? And I can't do that until I figure out a way to know that she's actually ready, because that's going to be a solution to try to fill that empty void of their mother not being 100% active in their life.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Action
Yeah, perfect timing too, because right now it's 11:35.
I appreciate
we are going to transition to Chef page. Chef Subpoena, for those who don't know, I want to give a big shout out to Willie D, E Black, Darrell, and the ever so amazing, magnificent, and untouchable Sherelle. So we're gonna go.
Can I say one
Go
thing
ahead.
real quick? Sunday I'll have a very special guest come on. We'll be talking about vegan food. You guys are not gonna want to watch that. Miss that.
He say we're not
I'll watch
that.
E Black, I'm not coming back
you
until I
guys
get
are
my
not gonna want to
prize
watch
because you
that.
cheated me.
Yeah, you crazy.
Green vegan.
Yeah.
He said you guys are not gonna want to watch that. Oh man, I needed that laugh. Oh man.
Freudian slip.
Yeah. Yo, as another point too. Yo, shout out to JB, man. You know, I don't like you like that, but you did prove to us that you weren't homeless and you had a fly crib sharing with your girl, and I respect that. You did prove that to us. And you said you love this page because you mentioned philosophers, but you subscribe to the Dirty Pastors Patreon. And I want you to keep on subscribing to them, because I don't want to stop anybody's money. Keep on giving your money. But we got a better deal over here, man. Members only, $10. Get it down before I increase it by January. I'm telling you, I'm a different type of vibration. Different type of vibration. I'm telling you, when this other deal comes in,
now?
huh?
We got a membership now?
Yeah, $10. But I'm gonna put
I was driving earlier.
Yeah, so what's gonna happen is when I get this other deal, it's gonna be different. I'm still gonna be the same king. I'm gonna be humble. I remember everybody that was with me in the beginning, and I'm gonna make sure I try to do something for y'all if I can. But I got expensive taste and expensive woman, so we're gonna work that out first, and then I got y'all. You feel me? It's a joke. I got y'all regardless. So we're gonna figure it out, but try to figure something out to have like an event or something in New York City, and those who come, those who don't, it's all right. Cheryl, we still waiting for you to come and see Bliss Me and get some drinks in New York City, and that's it. And shout out to everybody in the room. Natalie, you in New York, you still didn't say what up yet. Shout out to everybody else in New York who still didn't say what up. Rasta baby, I need y'all to say what's up to me soon, and just build that family vibe, because this right here is gonna be big. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know what I got, and I know it's hitting for. It's gonna be big. We the only channel that you have 9 people on the panel, and it's all love and respect. You feel me? This is the fastest growing channel I ever seen. Fastest.
And it's so much love. It's
real love.
The best
How you gonna punch
shows.
Cheryl though? You've been getting on Chef a little bit lately. You've been getting on him a little bit lately.
That's Chef.
I'm sorry, Chef. You've been getting on Cheryl. You've been getting on Cheryl a little bit lately.
Yeah, Chef be setting me up on the show. They be
Setting
in
you
the
up.
back chat. They be like, "Yeah, get Sherelle to call. We gonna get her now." Yeah,
No. First of all, can't nobody get Sherelle to do nothing. First of all,
they like,
Sherelle set herself up. Sherelle set herself up. I mean, I ain't setting nobody up. We debating. It's
Yeah,
the battle.
the show is
We're
everybody
debating, right?
against Sherelle.
Mhm.
It's the battlegrounds. It's not about
Well,
personal.
wait, hold on. That's the official name.
Yeah, it's
That's
everybody against Sherelle.
we're gonna talk about it. Y'all gonna catch a
That's the
little
official name of it. The
on my
battleground.
show.
That's a dope
It's
name. That's a dope name.
it's we got something set up. You know what I'm saying?
And now I done messed
So
with Sherelle's
if
money.
you coming in, it's all safe. We're not calling you names. Nobody calling us names, and we actually going and we're gonna debate,
Yeah,
and we're gonna debate with facts
Is
and
that similar to the smoke
with
session?
precision. Say it again.
Is that similar to the smoke session on Friday or no?
Now that today is called the Black Friday smoke session because it's Black Friday. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? So that's what today is because it's
Okay,
Black
so
Friday and it had a nice ring to it.
But
So
the after show is called officially the battleground.
nah, battleground is gonna be something else. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. But let's go to your show now. Let's walk over there. And I don't want no 30, 40. I want every seven. We got 70 people. We need them over there. So I'm going over there now, and we're gonna keep the conversation going.
And tell Sherelle to give me my 8 subscribers back. All right.
I did not take no subscribers.
Nah, they said you
3
did.
pages.
They said you did. I ain't go front. They definitely did say you did.
I promise you I didn't.
All right.
I only have 3 pages. The other subscribers are actually real people.
Well, I'm good.
They just drive trucks. They're not gonna text.
I'm monetized because of you. So I definitely believe you. I got
y'all seen my interview the other day though?
Where?
The interview y'all all came to?
Yeah.
I got the most views on their whole channel.
Wait, no, you beat us? You beat me?
Yes.
Hell no. Hell no. Let me check that shit. Hell no. But I'm mad competitive. Hold on.
Over K.
Hold on. Relax. So let me check this because you didn't beat me in shit.
Go to they favorite. Like click the link where
Hold
you show the top
on.
video.
Knowledge and
relationships.
That's my peoples right there. Hold on. Let me see. You didn't beat us. Fuck out of here. We always reign on top. I ain't trying to hear. We always reign on top.
And I've only been up there for a week. Period.
Hold on. Let me see this shit. You beat us. You beat us. Hold on. Where's mine's at? Hold on. They probably removed my shit.
No, look. Go to videos.
I'm on video. I see your
click most popular, and it's gonna show.
Oh, so by most popular? Okay.
Yeah, click most popular.
Let me see mine.
Tell them listed by most popular.
You smoked me.
You see me?
Yeah, she smoked me. She smoked me bad. This is bad, and it was longer, and she did it 8 days. Yeah, you smoked me. You doing your thing. I'm proud of you. You smoked me.
Thank
I like
you.
that.
Thank you.
When I lost. I respect it. I'm gonna get you next one though. All right. Let's go to Chef Page, all 69. All right, peace.